Look at that. Only less than 1 hour late, guys.
Hey guys, we did it.
What?
It was actually
Crushed.
4 o'clock Central Time. So we're good.
Beautiful.
Freaking mountain people.
All right. You shout out the thing in Discord, so we're good there.
All right.
Yep.
All right, let's get
Stinking
going.
love it.
Dudes.
Now I know what to do next time, if there is a next time. So hey, everybody, thank you if you've been sticking with us and being our ears in Twitch. We are extremely grateful. I am your host and storyteller, JairysTak. Some people even call me Jeff or Jay. I've been called many names and many
JT.
names that aren't repeatable on air. And we are gathered here today across time zones to, for one, just have a good time, but also to try and raise some money for CageCon, which is a cancer awareness gaming event benefiting 6 different charities. You can check it out at cage-con.com. So if you have been sticking with us, I don't want to drag things out any more than we need to as far as introductions are concerned on my end. You didn't come here to listen to me. You came here to probably see other people play games. So without further ado, which I know people hate when Grant Berger says that, so I'm going to say it without further ado.
Adieu.
Let's start with Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. On my top left, which is Twitch's top left, Steve. Who are you?
Oh. Hello, folks. I am Steve. I am on the Hideous Laughter podcast. And I was under the impression that CageCon was like a Nicolas Cage thing. So I'm kind of disappointed with the way this is turning out, but I'm going to game anyway. Yeah, really excited to play this game. Definitely the first time I've ever played. I read the core rulebook this morning, and I will be playing a character called Peter Franklin. He is the American who took a weekend away from the back in 1939. Then the war happened, and he got stuck in London. And that's kind of his thing. He has a shotgun, and he's a dad. He left America.
This is not hobo with a shotgun. It's just dad with a shotgun.
Dad with a shotgun. He left America with a pair of New Balance sneakers that are stained green from cutting the grass, and he's very proud of them.
New Balance, established in the 1930s. Speaking of stained and green, I'm very proud of them.
Historically accurate.
Speaking of historically accurate, my top right, your top right. Hey, D.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Dwayne. Most people just call me D. It's easier. Character I'm playing today, his alias would be Elksman. He's actually a Cherokee native who fought in the war and then moved over to Britain, tired of the racism. He carries a medicine axe and also a pipe. So we'll see what kind of trouble he can find.
I'm
Awesome.
so excited for this.
Yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing of this character, and I'm ready.
Speaking of ready, hey, Tim, what's going on?
What's up? My name's Tim, and I am playing a guy named James Gurney. He's an Irishman who was discovered for the supernatural powers, basically rigging the poker tables at gambling halls across the UK. It's 1941, from what I understand, and I imagine he's having trouble finding work. So here he is at the Ministry.
Awesome.
Noise.
And speaking of trouble finding work, hey, Griff.
Oh, hey. What's up, buddy? I'm
Hey, man.
Griff. I moonlight as the GM of the Hideous Laughter podcast, but I am super excited. When you mentioned this game to me, I was all in because the Ministry of Extramundane Affairs sounds like exactly my cup of tea. Love horror, love the 1940s, love the setting, and thinking of that, I went straight in as, well, alias Guten Tag. He is an ex-Nazi spy.
That's your alias?
His alias is Guten Tag. His name is Bernard Geisenhower, and he is again an ex-Nazi spy who the reason he defected is that he actually developed this what's called psychometry, which is that he can kind of feel the emotions of objects and kind of get a sense of what happened in places. It drove him a little bit insane as an ex-Nazi. When he was a Nazi, he would be in kind of the where people were tortured, and he would experience these intense emotions, and he realized that like no torture, regardless of who it is okay, because it kind of like wore down on him time and time again. So he's a bit of a nutcase. He's as a spy was always called Guten Tag, good day, and he has two pistols. He has Guten Morgen and Guten Nacht. So that's him. We'll see a little bit more from him.
Wunderbar.
That is magical.
Wunderbar.
Well played.
Good spiel.
So, did I hear right? We have an American, a Cherokee, an Irishman, and a German expatriate here as a team serving this British institution.
Well, I'm from Northern Ireland. So I specifically wrote that in.
Okay.
I think it counts.
It still counts as the UK.
I just
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
And I'm sure this whole war thing is going to blow over any day now.
You're not wrong. Oh man, I am trying to see here. One quick thing. Because I noticed earlier in my bot that I set up, posted the donate link. It didn't run. It ran together all weird. So I wish I could.
I always knew Jay was a robot.
You were correct. I mean, no. You're a robot. Nailed it. See, there's no sense motive in this game, sucker.
Boom.
Oh God.
All D10s, baby.
All right.
Which D10 you guys using? You using nice ones? You got a nice one, Andy?
Oh yeah.
I get this guy. This Goldie. I don't know if you can see it focused in.
Ooh.
I'm excited to use that guy.
That's pretty. I mean, by pretty, I
That's
mean
pretty
manly.
long.
I wish I had a red, white, and blue one.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
using
you need
this,
red, white,
this
and blue
purple
one.
guy.
That's on
I feel
brand.
like your D10s look nicer than mine.
Ooh,
Definitely.
dang, Tim.
10. It's Irish.
I love it.
Yeah, I need mine to actually have like black borders, so then it could be German.
That would be cool.
Oh. Well, I think the people have waited long enough.
Aye.
So let's get this party started. We open on a city blanketed by fog. It is almost entirely silent as a faint orange glow in the east gives an indication that the sun is only just now rising once again. It has been said that the sun never sets on the British Empire, but darkness has threatened to overtake the light. Uneasiness is not nearly a strong enough word to describe the tangible feeling pervading the air, a tension so keenly felt that a passerby's sneeze causes a young boy to dive to the ground in abject fear. This boy couldn't be more than 6 years old, and he looks up, face flushed with embarrassment, as he dusts off his trousers and stands up to his feet. "A bit jumpy, are we, lad?" the man who had sneezed asks. He's an older gentleman, easily in his 60s, with a snow-white mustache, and he offers a kind smile. He wears the livery of the Royal Mail, a postman, and he tips his cap to the boy's flustered mother as the family hurries off to school. The postman continues along his route through the London Eastern Central, better known as London EC, and he makes his deliveries. Some of those take him past relatively normal streets, as more people begin to exit their homes and embark on their daily routines of work and school. Other deliveries take him past the shattered remnants of homes and workplaces, struck by bombs and either reduced to hollow shells or burned entirely to cinders. Even were the sun to shine brightly in the early hours of this Thursday morning, Most of the intact dwellings would benefit little from the light because taping your windows was a common practice these days. On the plus side, it minimized the chances of glass shattering on impact. But this small comfort brought with it a darkening, and such were the compromises made in times of war. His route continues, taking him along Threadneedle Street. Visitors to London might well find themselves turned around rather quickly, as street signs have all been removed to confuse any would-be invaders or spies. Not to worry, this is a familiar route to him. He's stopped at many Georgian houses, and he arrives, at this very moment, at a 6-story bathstone facade. He walks up the 5 semicircular steps and reads the brass plaque to himself. Chapter House, 22 Threadneedle Street, EC2. The man is stroking his mustache, confirming that the address matches that of the parcel on top of his pile. Right we are, he says again to himself, and he opens the door, crosses the threshold, and then shuts the door behind him. Moments later, we see that the package has been handed off and is under an arm being carried up a spiral staircase. A well-dressed man, presumably a guard, checks the woman's identification badge and says, "Roof, port," and then he nods politely. The woman carrying the package returns the nod, walks up to her reception desk, and hands over the package to the secretary. "Thank you, Alice," the secretary says, shielding her eyes a moment as a few errant rays of sunshine finally pierce the fog and the stained glass windows of the rotunda. The sounds of Alice's footsteps retreating down the stairs grow fainter as the secretary, a woman dressed fashionably in a long dark green skirt and a black modest blouse, raps politely on the door behind her desk. "Yes, is it here?" a voice carries authoritatively from within. "Yes, Mr. Pilgrim," she says. "It's just arrived." And the door opens from within, revealing the silhouette of a man, his form obscured by the rising sun's rays from within the chamber. "Thank the light, I couldn't bear the thought of resorting to chamomile in the morning. We may be at war, but we are still English, are we not?" And before she can answer, he takes the box and closes the door. "Oh, and one more thing," the voice from within calls out, and the door opens a crack. "The rookies are due to arrive any minute, but stall them for me a bit. I must have a proper cup before dealing with this unpleasantness." And the door shuts again. The secretary returns to her desk, and she waits for the arrival of a team of freshly cleared field agents. And so we begin our most curious case, a rum due on Mill Road.
All right.
Ooh.
And so you're all waiting.
Intrigue.
Yes, you find yourselves waiting. You're at the 6th floor, the top floor of this building that is much larger on the inside than it appears from the street. It actually takes up both the front door building and buildings adjacent on either side. And you're there waiting for your boss, Mr. Pilgrim, to give you your very, very first mission.
What are you guys wearing?
Don't everyone jump at once.
I'm wearing a dark green suit
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Jeez.
and a bowler hat.
Don't call me a leprechaun.
I'm quite lucky. I'm trying to show it. So yeah, and bright red hair, of course, and a gorgeous 1941 mustache.
I love it. Love it.
So I think I'll stand on the other side of the room for a minute. My guy's wearing faded jeans and cowboy boots. He just has a beat up, worn down t-shirt, long black hair. His first name is John. I don't think I mentioned that before. And he's going to be smoking a big roach.
Oh, God.
Start.
Your boy, smoking a big fat road.
My guy is wearing the bluest pair of blue jeans you've ever seen, and he's got a polo tucked into him. Pretty well put together. He looks like the most average white man you've ever seen with a very handsome mustache. It's just like a caterpillar across the top lip.
Nice. Bernard is clean shaven, blonde hair, green eyes. He is wearing basically all leather. So he's got this kind of like, and it's black leather. Wearing leather pants, a leather jacket, and a white T-shirt underneath it. And he's pretty lean. He's 5'11", so he's not super tall, but he's, average height. But yeah, that's him. And he kind of has this like smarmy look on his face, like, ooh, what do we have here?
Like you are the rest of the recruits then, eh?
Oh, I just thought they were hiring Irishmen. But how lovely to have you in a little band of merry men.
Quite likely they're hiring Irishmen rather than Germans.
Well, the times are what they are, and things happen. But I'm a good guy now. I'm a very good guy. You just have to get to know me, and obviously we are new recruits. You've never met me before, but guten Tag to you, my friend.
See what they say inside.
It's nice to meet both Kraut and Potato Farmer. America's a great melting pot where we accept all. It is nice to meet you all.
Except for the American Indians. You didn't really greet them too well, did you?
I've got a lot of opinions on my friend in the corner. I'll keep them to myself.
Do you look like an American Indian?
Yes, I am.
Wait, did you describe
observation? Yeah, he's dark skin, long black hair. Very obvious.
Okay.
I see you may be nearly as hated as I am right now. Pleasure to meet you, my friend. What is your name?
They call me John. But to you, just don't say it.
What, you don't want me to say John? How silly of him. John.
He's
It's
just
a
gonna start
pleasure to meet
smoking away. Oh, God.
Is that a peace axe on your back there?
We call it a peace pipe where I'm from.
I thought you had a peace axe.
It's both. It actually looks like both. But
I hope that's just tobacco in there and not the devil's lettuce.
In for a rude awakening when you go into your son's room. He's smoking the devil's lettuce.
I would not like to see you in my son's room, thank you very much.
But he doesn't like leather.
something tells me he spends a lot of time in closets.
And it's that time exactly. Woo! That Alice, the secretary, walks up to greet you and tell you that Mr. Pilgrim is now ready for you. And so she'll open the door to his office and extend an arm of welcome for you to walk in. And as you walk in, you see that, conveniently enough, there is exactly 4 chairs, one for each of you, and he invites you to sit.
Bernard would turn back and say, Alex, have you done something with your hair? You look marvelous today.
And she just smiles but says nothing.
Says nothing, leaves.
Mr. Pilgrim is played by Michael Sheen, most recently Aziraphale in Good Omens, if you haven't watched that. So he is probably in his 40s or early 50s, it's hard to tell, British man, and he congratulates you and says, welcome. Congratulations on being cleared for field duty, agents.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Pilgrim. America was built on the backs of pilgrims. I appreciate your name.
Yes, well...
I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that you would accept someone like...
Well, we are at war, and we are grateful for the assistance of the many nations and peoples represented here in this very room, and the ministry is an equal opportunity employer.
Indeed.
Yes. Someday generations will look back and say, we will follow the examples of the English in our hiring practices. But
It hasn't happened yet.
no, I must cut short the levity, however, and get down to business. Here on my desk, I have the 3 most recent editions of the Cambridge Herald. And, well, there's been some funny goings-on Mill Road. So today in the game, it is Thursday, the 17th of April. And these goings-on just started on Sunday. So just a few days ago. On Sunday the 13th, people from Mill Road awoke to find that all their food had suddenly gone off. And they're knocking on the doors of local grocers asking for more, which is particularly problematic given the rationing limiting the foodstuffs available. The following day, Monday, people from Mill Road and the surrounding area complained that every dog started barking just after 10 p.m. the previous evening and didn't shut up for 6 hours. Many of the dogs are barely able to make noise the next day, but are still unusually agitated. The local papers have various takes on it, including a column discussing the Dogs' Parliament at Mill Road and other such humorous pieces. Then Tuesday, Mrs. Anne Granger of 77 Mill Road goes to the police in the morning and informs them that her home was invaded by a, quote, pale man in the small hours of the night. When she confronted him, he left quickly, though she later retracted her statement and asserted that she must have been confused.
Excuse me, Mr. Pilgrim. Were any of the dogs harmed in this event?
No, from what we've been able to gather, the only harm was that they were a bit hoarse. Horse with an A, not transformed into equestrian.
I understand. My English is not perfect, but I understand some things.
But yes, their voices were the only things that appeared even temporarily harmed. They were quite agitated, but
Would hate to hear of any animal being harmed in this kind of oddness going on.
yes, so far as we know, that hasn't yet been the case. In fact, it would seem, at least at first glance, a likelihood that the pale man was a spirit of some kind, and honestly, the other 2 happenings are somewhat common occurrences from miscasts of magic. Now, there are no registered ritualists or occultists in that part of Cambridge, so I suspect perhaps it's a neuromancer or evocationist that is really even either just coming into his powers or her powers, or is unaware that they're casting magic at all, perhaps. Could be dangerous, but if that is the case, usually those casters are unaware of the ministry and might even be grateful for our assistance with their condition.
As far as I'm concerned, dogs bark and food's eaten. Spirits, however, that's something we can do something about.
Indeed. Your orders, in fact, are to find your way to Cambridge and establish whether these events are miscasts, and if they are, take action in accordance with any relevant laws concerning the extramundane. Should there be any uncertainty about such things, do find the nearest telephone and call Chapter House. Ask to speak to the Preternatural Criminality and Justice Department. And if I may suggest, a fair place to start would be to speak with Mrs. Anne Granger at number 77. And you'll want some sort of cover story to explain your presence. The quartermaster in the basement, Sergeant Locke, would certainly be able to procure uniforms of some kind, perhaps military intelligence as a likely story. I do suggest highly that you find something that all 4 of you can agree upon. It would be a rather hard sell, as blue jeans and boots and even black leather aren't exactly standard military issue if you were to go that route, but if you wish to...
I suppose a German accent is something she's not very accustomed to either.
Unfortunately, the prejudices of wartime may be acting far from in your favor. Maybe, and by no means don't take this the wrong way, Bernard, but perhaps somebody else should be the first conversationalist on the scene. Someone else to take the face of your team, perhaps.
No, I did work as a spy. I may not have a little bit tricks up my sleeve for, changing the way I speak, but I'm more than willing to let our Irish friend over here take the lead. It's the most maybe at home, how you say?
A lot of time on these streets. Sure, we can do it. I do question the decision to hire a German spy.
Don't think anything of it,
I'll go.
I think our leather-clad friend could be a lot of help. And the concerns of the elderly should be the concerns of all of us. So, my whiskey-drinking friend, I think you should take. I don't want to. I don't want to change out of this polo. And I always say the only person that will get me out of my blue jeans is my wife. But if you have a uniform for me downstairs, I will gladly change into it to try to blend in.
Does this work for you? If we were to speak together, and this is a question for you, JT. Can I roll diplomacy into me attempting to change my accent?
Yeah, so if you... so that seems reasonable with your background in espionage, that you should be able to affect a different accent. Do you have any relevant skills that might work with like an influence check?
I was going to say I took diplomacy and interrogation. I don't know if either of those, as far as like diplomatic skills.
Yeah,
I have plenty of other skills.
I am sure
You just have to do with things in the dark.
Oh my. Yeah, diplomacy, like an influence plus diplomacy roll would probably be the most, I think the most logical for when you're trying to...
Influence plus diplomacy, or just my influence, or just my diplomacy?
So both. Stat and skill combos are pretty much the bread and butter in the system.
All right. Let's get it. I got a 1 on the die.
Which is a guaranteed
That's
success.
a 2 10.
What was
That's a 10.
what was your target
My
number?
influence is 5, and my diplomacy, my influence is 4, and my diplomacy is 5.
Jeez.
Your diplomacy is
under a
5?
9. So you rolled a 1.
So you have
and
a
that's
stunning success.
right? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, I think that's a crit.
Yeah, that is the equivalent of a crit. If you have if you beat it by more than 4.
So, I'm sorry to bother you, but I might be able to walk in with our friend over here and make this. We could do this in tandem, if you're all right with that. My name's Whiskey McTaggart, and I'm
Whiskey McTaggart.
Whiskey McTaggart over here. I could, I'll be your background man if you need any help over there. And I'm certain to, I'll just kind of like stand behind you, and if you need backup or anything, I'm right there for you.
You don't look anything like an Irishman, but you sure sound like one. Someone I would like to get a Guinness with.
I picked up a couple of things working in. Well, I guess I was a Nazi spy. Oh, don't tell anybody.
Very obvious about it.
It's out the open with it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you're playing pretty fast and loose with the word Nazi while they're bombing London, the city you're in.
A German. Hey, that's all I was. It's just a German spy.
Awesome.
I hate your clothing, but I respect your pride.
Phenomenal. And with that, Mr. Pilgrim will excuse you, unless you have questions for him specifically, and you'll be cleared to go down to the quartermaster, Sergeant Locke, to requisition uniforms, if you want to try and persuade him to let you take some gear that's normally not on in your field kit, he'd be the one to clear that.
And so right now, do we have all of the team equipment?
Basically, yeah. Whatever is so every person has one of everything on the field agent kit list on the left column, and then in the middle column, the team equipment. Yeah, you basically have. I mean, except for when it says "or," then you'd have one of the options. Like you're gonna have.
Do you know the name of the company that made the game?
Two Beard Games.
Two Beard Games did a fucking phenomenal job at doing like creating their Excel file for this is awesome.
Yeah.
It literally has like the entire list, like your field officer kit, your team equipment, and then like the special issue equipment. It's so sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reached out to them on Twitter, twobeardgames.com, and at twobeardgames to kind of see, hey, when's this game coming out, so I could mention it on the stream. And they're
Right.
TBD, wanting to build a presence, community, hit up some cons, and get the word out there before they try and crowdfund, which makes sense. Yeah, I'm
I
impressed.
feel like that was I feel like that's a personal shout out to me. So we're going to be given all of our gear.
Yeah, you essentially, so you're all going to get to go hop in your Austin 8 car that the ministry provided, and you will each have your individual kits and then team equipment. Anything else that you want to get special issue, you can try for.
I would like to pick up a Ouija board.
Yep. So
Oh, what you're using a Ouija board there?
I don't have much experience using it, but it could be pretty useful for a spirit.
Yeah. Is there anything else you need, Mr. Father Figure?
Absolutely. I would like to trade in this old school double-barreled shotgun for that fancy Winchester 1870 or 1897 shotgun over there. They called it a war crime, but it's also my birthday in 1897, and I think that's funny.
So you're saying this to Sergeant Locke, who is played by Newsies era Robert Duvall, and he doesn't even crack a smile. He's a pretty serious dude, but
Seems you didn't like your joke, friend.
but he does grunt an agreement and will let you trade in your shotgun. He's a tougher nut.
Wonderful. So yeah, I'll take the I'll take that trench gun, and then in my basic kit I have a pistol that I'm not going to be using, and I'm going to say, my friend of confusing background, would you like a second pistol? You seem like a man who's very dexterous with your hands.
Is it me you're looking for? Of course, I would take this gun. I would love it. This could be my Guten Morgen.
I appreciate that. Just do not take it to my child's room.
I certainly would not do that.
Please stay away from my children if your kind ever takes over America.
Where are they? In Ohio? In America? Somewhere? Just asking for a friend.
I'm an Indianapolis man.
Of course you are. I picked you as a Midwesterner at the beginning here.
Must have been my polite demeanor.
And your punch.
Yes, I'm rocking a dad bod.
He literally put it on his sheet, folks. Like dad bod is on his like when it says build, like I have lean, he has dad bod.
It's true. I did it.
It's perfect.
John's going to look at the pistol.
So-
He's going to see you hand yours over, and he's just going to walk over and give you a third pistol. Here you go.
This one I could call Guten Abend.
But he is going to try to convince the quartermaster for an extra first aid kit or a surgery kit.
Yeah, that's a super reasonable request. He looks at the four of you, and then says, "Yeah, I could think you might need that, actually."
not here to take lives, just to save them.
Always pleased to hear that. Would you be requiring a uniform of some kind?
It seems to be, well, where we are going to go and speak. Where we, yeah, the military is that we were going to use as our guys.
I believe that's correct. The only person that can get me out of my jeans is my wolf, but I'll do this for the occasion.
How love you. So yeah, I think we would be asking for military uniforms.
Cool. And that's
Which ones do we choose?
Do they have I don't know the distinction, Tim, do you, playing an Irish character? Would Northern Ireland folks at this time be wearing British uniforms?
I actually don't know. I should probably look this up.
so. I think at this point, yeah, you would be
All right, everybody,
likely
take out your
wearing
history textbooks.
either like Royal Navy, Royal Air Force, like the RAF, or just like something that Mr. Pilgrim would have suggested was if you went as RAF, the Royal Air Force, a plausible guise would be something like, hey, we're just checking for any signs of chemical deposits or something like that, because the Luftwaffe might have they might be experimenting with a biological weapon or something like that.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. I think we would definitely listen to his advice.
I will say that in terms of a Irishman wearing a British military uniform, it's like Northern Ireland became part of A in 1921.
All right, so we did it.
I think it's good.
Two Irishmen walk up to a bar.
One of them orders
To an old
sauerkraut.
lady's house.
Walk up to an old lady's house, ask her for chemical spills, whatever.
Could I get a diplomacy to convince me to wear the uniform?
You want
Yeah,
a diplomacy from us? Yeah, for sure. All right, I got a 5 on the dice, and my modifier is 9.
I failed.
Okay.
So I'm adding. I took the diplomacy skill, but what am I adding that to?
Influence.
I believe
You
it's
add it to your influence.
But that's the DC then. That's not the modifier.
Right. And I'm trying to get below that total, correct?
Exactly.
I got a natural 1.
Hey, that is a guaranteed
go.
success.
There we go, Dad Bod.
So
Yeah.
somehow
How does
you
a 5
finagled me
succeed in
into
that
it.
scenario? How does the skill interact with the? So the DC is 4 for me because my influence is 4, right?
Mhm.
The difficulty check.
You
For
add your
those.
diplomacy to that, to 4.
So the DC is 9.
So 5 is, you have 9 or lower.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Mhm.
So just don't roll 10.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so I think so. My influence diplomacy DC together would have been a 7. So he definitely got it.
Yeah, so when it comes to things like opposed rolls in this game, normally what would happen would be something like, if you really needed convincing, I could have probably had you roll yours, and then however much you beat your own by, if you succeed, would be a penalty applied to somebody else. Which is sort of how they would do
Gotcha,
stealth
yeah.
and awareness in this game as well.
Okay.
But
Is it even worth rolling if you got
You
a
want to
1?
roll
though?
yours? Yeah, go roll yours.
Fine.
Come on, let's play
So I
this
got
game
a-
as the foolest man.
I got an 11.
Oh, dang. All right.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
it's not
I
possible.
think higher's worse, right?
Yeah. How did you roll higher than a 10 on a D10?
Wait, how the hell do you have an 11 on a 10-sided die?
No, I rolled a 4, and then it's plus 7.
Oh, so what you rolled was you rolled a 4, and you wanted to get under a
Yeah.
7, so you beat it by 3.
Yeah.
But still, even adding a 3 penalty, they still rolled low enough to convince you.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is
All
this
right.
is an
So he
interesting.
puts it on begrudgingly.
Never before have I turned to my not hot dice for a game.
Yeah, please roll low. Yeah.
Which are my shittiest dice that I never roll?
In case you don't know, Jay is famous in our games for always rolling 1.
Which is why he wants to play this game. This is why he's
Exactly.
like, I'm all in on
Hey,
it.
it's perfect for me.
It's great. Yeah, I test drove this scenario on Friday with a couple guys, and they had the same. One of them was also excited, like, "Oh, I always roll garbage on D10s." It's like, here you go. This game is for you.
Unless you forget. Did you see that tear of happiness he just had?
With my luck, I would only roll high in this game.
Yep.
That's the way it works, man.
Yeah. Then you are all set, I believe, with gear.
Okay.
Stop me if I'm wrong.
I think we're good. Ready to roll.
Then roll you shall. And your first stat test, really and truly, is getting to Cambridge with all the road signs removed. So you are provided an ordnance map, and you can an ordnance survey map, and you can whoever has either the best or you think will be the luckiest rolling a knowledge plus drive navigation or drive or cartography. Well, not drive. Drive is operated the vehicle. So navigation,
God, a FASA figure.
navigation
We have
or
a bit of
cartography
drive.
plus knowledge.
Not drive then.
So drive would be
This
if you
is,
were in a chase or trying to make hairpin turns or things like that, your drive would come into play. But for getting around town, it'll be a knowledge in either navigation or cartography.
So Bernard is a relatively established spy, and he knows most of Europe decently well. What I'm getting at is that he has a knowledge 4. So if anybody can beat that, I don't have like any cartography skill to speak of. So if somebody has that, you should roll it. But
Well, Peter Franklin has a shit ton of points in driving, so I'm definitely driving. But I also dropped 3 points in navigation,
Nice.
so my knowledge plus navigation would be a 5.
Hey,
then why don't you roll it?
50-50.
I know where I'm going.
There's all those tourist maps.
This is the game for me. I've rolled twice, and that's 2 natural ones.
Hey, there it is. There it is.
Marvelous.
It's a natty 1, and you had to beat a 5.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to look at the map.
Honey, I won't ask for directions.
Honey?
Yeah, you are easily able to follow the map, or if you even need it at all, Peter. And you reach Cambridge in the crotch shop 2.5 hours that it would normally take. So,
Peter, that's very, very good navigational skills. I'm surprised by a foreigner such as yourself that you know your way around Britain.
I have a pretty good internal compass.
Perfect.
that's what I like to hear about my navigators. And yeah, you make it down to Mill Road. It's a lovely
I
Thursday.
never go over the speed limit.
So 3 hours.
Oh
No
my
signs
God.
posted, but you know they are.
Darn right.
Yep.
And it's a lovely Thursday in England, and you make it to Cambridge to Mill Road. It's, number 77. Is that where you're heading first to Anne Granger, or you're going to do something else around town first?
I think, at least for myself and Tim, what was your character's name? I apologize.
James.
James. For Bernard and James, I think we had established that we would go talk to her, and I would mimic the accent to do a corroborating story.
Sweet. Does that sound...
I don't know
So,
what the call would be on this, but my character can detect emotion. It's normally a sorcery roll. I don't know if I can do that for like a general, like what's like emotion through this area, if there's anything strange going on or something like that.
I think we're a perfect duo to go in here, though, because I have psychometry, and so any object in this house that seems out of place, I can and get an idea of like the emotions around that object as well. So I think if you and I tag team in there, maybe we can do like more of a like psychic reading with the guise of being just
Yeah.
RAF.
Look at
agree.
us. Look at us using our diversity to succeed. I'll hang out in the back with the native and watch her with my kineticist. I can read her body.
I will go with them. Thank you. What is it, you
Well, what I
guys?
meant is like I don't know while we're driving if I can detect as far as like while we're going though too, like not only in the house but also like
The area.
there are strange things going on this street. I'd like to be aware of what's happening before we even get to that.
I think it's, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the R reading was for people.
Yeah.
Just individual. Alright.
Yeah. So
That's what I was asking. But yeah.
yeah.
So like if there were a bunch of people in the street, I feel like you could, it's almost like that. Have you guys ever heard of where, and I synesthesia, where like when you say a word, you can actually see the color of that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how your R reading works. It's just like you see like a hue around a person, and you personally know what your colors mean. So you're like, okay, well that dude has a red hue around him. He's angry or whatever it is.
It's kind of like Detect Evil when you think about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's such a cool skill.
Yeah. It's awesome.
In game, I would ask. So what makes you guys special? Why you?
Picked me up because of my ability to read people, you know. I can see how they feel, and I can then react before they know exactly that they're giving on what their emotions are. And I don't know, not much work around here, and so I think they knew about me before they picked me up. On top of that, I can teleport things into my hand.
You dick.
How about you, John?
In my people's word, they call it the eyes of the eagle. Nothing gets past me. I see it all the time.
Unsettling, no?
So he has an on this called the sight. They're called true sight, but yeah. So I guess he's going to be a pretty good combination with your guys' powers.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be dope. I'm glad we didn't plan this at the time because we all found some pretty synergistic powers.
Guess who else is synergizing with the site?
Well, John, it appears we're two peas in a pod, and maybe should have talked about our skills before we started playing the game. I took the fucking site.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, now you guys can look at both directions.
I'll tell you what. I think we'll see two very different parts of the world, especially since we grew the pod and you took it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The words of Andrew Jackson. Well, I've got a great many skills as an ex-spy. Espionage and all. I can touch an object and tell what happened with it, what things around it. I can also. I'm doing the Irish voice. I'm already in character for the rest. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm back. I can also tell. If I sit in an area and I need to go a bit of time there. An hour or two. But I can tell what happens there in the past, in a limited time period. But if I sit there for a while, I can see for a while. Also, I can see in the dark. I don't know if that's important, but it's one of those things that I just, as a spy, it's nice to kill people at night. I don't, How do you feel about that? Have you ever killed?
I don't wish to really speak of it at this moment in the car. Yes.
I'm shoulder to shoulder with you. I mean, I don't know why you'd be uncomfortable with me.
I am uncomfortable with you.
I forgot. I don't have the sight.
Oh!
I have famous forebears. Manifest destiny.
Oh God!
Perfect.
Son of a bitch.
Your ability, you bastard.
Have any of you ever fought spirits?
Only in my head. You've heard of the Nazis, yes?
Oh, whiskey is a spirit, no?
The whiskey is a spirit, you know. I have had dealings with spirits. I left my previous employer. It was very hard to be in the same building where people hurt. I ended up hating it. I hated it so much, and I everything that happened. It was more than I had signed up for. It was more than I expected, and I had to leave and find an end to that. It's not right what they're doing. It's not right.
Well, it looks like we finally agree on something.
And you see them.
Do you also wear leather?
He's gonna go back to smoking.
Does the site allow you to see the dead?
I would appreciate it if you do not smoke in this automobile. Secondhand smoke is a killer.
It's a rental.
He just spits out a bunch of tobacco on the floor.
Coming out of your paycheck.
So
I'll ask again, does the site allow you to see the spirits then?
out of game, for what I understand, it lets you see everything. So in game, yeah, I do see the spirits.
Alright, then it sounds like we are prepared for this. We're all new, this is our first day, right?
Yeah, we were picked for our skills, and it sounds like everybody has very unique ones. Excited to be working with you four. Or you three, huh? I'm the fourth.
We get closer, I'm just getting a bit more nervous. Street gives me the chills.
I do not fear any sort of demons, devils, or ghosts. Through the power of God, anything's possible.
Oh man.
Oh man, indeed.
I heard you Irish were of the Catholic. Down in America, we were Protestant folks. So I got my eye on you.
So we head to the house.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So we get to the
I was
house.
trying to go.
And Tim, I don't know.
Fingers.
Maybe if you talked more at your mic, you're the quietest of the four when you're speaking.
Sorry, I'm also the most inexperienced.
That's perfect.
I'll try this.
Don't worry.
That's perfect. Crushing it.
Way better? Okay. Yeah, I'll try better. Sorry.
I recommend holding it. Ooh,
No problem.
nice dinger.
I'm not super experienced at this either. Thankfully it's right in front of my face. It gives me fewer options to miss it. But anyway, you get to this short row of red brick houses that the uncanny navigation of Peter Franklin assures you is Mill Road, despite the absence of signage. But they do have house numbers, and you see number 77 before you.
So here we are.
Would we roll like a perception to see anything different?
Yeah, awareness is the equivalent in this game. You could certainly roll awareness to see if anything is out of place. You could combine that with investigation if you have
I
skills.
would love to roll awareness.
I have forensics.
Cool.
Yeah, I also have 6. Does forensics count for this? Probably not.
Well,
It does?
if you were really studying and looking for details, sure. If you're just trying to get a better lay of the land.
What about lore Nazi?
In this
I took lore. Yeah. I have lore.
Is that like
Jesus.
Nazi, but about?
No, it's just
Jay.
So
lore of the. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and roll awareness.
I failed the hell out of this roll.
I gotta do. My awareness score is 5, so I pass. Well, I think I passed. That's how that works, right?
Hey, Jay, I rolled a 10.
okay, so that is
Yeah,
a,
me
that is
too.
a dreadful. Well, it's a definite failure. What's your target number? Like, what's your awareness?
Well, I have 3 awareness and 2 in forensics, and then I have true sight.
Okay.
So I don't know what that combines to.
So the true sight, I don't think gives you a mechanical as far as a score benefit goes. So that is more than 4
Right.
over your number, which is a dreadful failure. You are the first fumble basically of the game. But since it's awareness, I mean, it's not like you're going to take damage from it.
Get dust in your
You
eye.
just
Sucks.
yeah, you definitely don't notice anything out of the ordinary at all. You're just like,
It'd be funny if I saw something that wasn't there.
I would if I was a more creative.
You're the one with true
GM,
sight, so
yeah.
you probably see some like crazy ass shit.
I
Something
just
that
kicked
distracts
through her
you.
door. There are spirits invading her house.
You just fall to the ground screaming. Yeah, but let's see. Guten Tag passed. Did
Guten Tag.
did James? Were you looking for anything in particular?
I would like to share that I dreadfully failed with the natural
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, neither James nor John really see anything. What you notice with your spy skills is actually 77 seems fairly normal, just like your average house front. But you do notice that the next door house, number 79, doesn't look nearly as well kept.
Okay, so I would intuit that that's like maybe an abandoned home, or is it that bad, or is it like, okay, this person doesn't mow their lawn?
Yeah, it's definitely more of option B. You'd get that somebody's
Okay.
it's certainly occupied, but whoever
Are they exactly adjacent? Like, are these row homes or are they standalone homes?
yeah, they are. I mean, there's a tiny yard between the two, but they're basically right
Okay.
next to each other, and it just looks like whoever lives there, they are either oblivious or completely indifferent to the condition of their home.
Okay. I would relay this to the group, I think, and just kind of say, this is a very interesting circumstance where this next door house almost seems a little bit more suspicious, I would say, than 77. 79 is well, I'd like to touch the doorknob of this place. If you 3 could cover me, I'd appreciate that.
You would think they would take pride in their neighborhood and fix up their own home. I'll cover you. Let me load the shotgun in the middle of the street.
Jeez.
That is not what I meant. Just look out for people, you silly American.
I'm going to take a leak. And he just walks over to a corner.
Thank you for announcing that. So what I would
Nobody look.
What I would like to do is so the psychometry rules are pass an awareness test while touching an object to witness a few swift images or sensations hinting at its history. The more you pass by, the more details you would glean. I would actually like to touch the doorknob of the adjacent house to see if I can pick anything up from it because of that awareness check. I feel like it's a little bit more suspicious, and I don't want to waste our time digging into it if it's not. But I would like to kind of like get an idea of
Sounds
it.
good.
All right, so I'm gonna roll for awareness. Natty 2. My awareness is 5.
Nice. So you touch the doorknob of this house next door, and poor John doesn't catch any of this as he's busy urinating. But you get this sensation of Well, something that you, Griffin, are familiar with. It's intoxication.
Oh,
Sure.
thank you.
Hey, yeah. So you feel a little bit. So you get the sensation of intoxication from the doorknob, and then also sort of the feeling of trying to prove yourself. I don't know how you really communicate that, but you just get that sensation of.
It's very much like a let's get down to business type of feeling I'm getting here. I feel like a very, how do you say, like a Mulan-like character where I have to prove myself here. And I also kind of feel drunk. What is this? This is very interesting.
Stay off the dark side of the moon.
John will walk up behind you guys. Did that doorknob kill you yet?
Not yet, but I'm getting a strange reading off of it. It's whoever was here, I imagine was probably, I don't know. How do you say it in Britain? Like 2 sheets to the wind? Does that work? A little bit of drunk, a little bit. I don't know. You would know about it, right? Whiskey, like too much of it, or something.
Feeling like an Irish man.
Technical term is sloshed, right?
Well, it depends where you are. We call it Baumhausen.
For me.
If John reached forward and tried the doorknob, would it be locked?
Yeah. It is.
So I have,
One, I think
as a skill.
somebody lives here.
Hold on. As a skill, I have lockpicking. Is that something I could attempt here?
This would be unlawful entry, right?
Then, yes, but we have a job to do, and I don't want to.
Correct.
If this takes too long,
Job is at 77.
but hear me out. Like, you all have strange abilities as well, right? I have a feeling that this way, it seems a bit suspicious, this property, and then I have these feelings on the doorknob. I don't want to. I mean, we could certainly talk and then come back, but I don't want to leave this lead as nothing.
I think we should talk to the concerned elderly citizen before we break into a drunk person's home.
And that's completely fine. I'm okay with that. I wanted to be on our radar that we do this. So,
All right.
so we probably go back to 77. Have a
How
conversation.
far is 77 from 79? Are they next door, or are they a couple of feet or more?
Yeah, they are not. I mean, they don't quite share a wall, but there's just a few feet between the two houses.
So if we broke the door to 79, would 77 hear it?
That might depend on some stealthiness and or opposed awareness on my end.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm confident we can get through the door if we want.
I might be able to do it quieter, is what I'm saying, though. We could certainly break it down. You're a large gentleman. You could just kick this thing down, but the older lady over there, yes, she might have hindered hearing. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to her yet. I'm sure she's a wonderful woman, but if she doesn't kick the door down, she's going to know that we're not working for the Royal Air Force, right?
Yes, you're right. Perhaps we should talk to her first.
All right, let's go. Over to 77.
So do we want to do the same where I kind of back you up, you do the talking, and I'll kind of corroborate your story with the Irish accent, whatever, like trying to.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. I just personally think it's a better idea to do this and then check the.
Oh no, yeah, I totally get you. Yeah, I
All right.
agree. Even.
I'm getting nervous. Like, oh no.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
I was so tempted to just break down the door while you guys were talking.
I have to go pee inside their home.
She's hard of hearing.
He needs to take a shit now.
And to go into their bathroom.
Yeah, do this in the yard.
All right. So James will go up to the door and give it a few polite knocks.
You give it a polite knock, and you hear from inside, "Just a moment." And then the door opens, and it's not an elderly woman. She's maybe in her mid-40s. And she answers the door and says, "Yes, how may I help you, officers?"
Oh yes, officers, fine. Are you Miss Granger?
"Yes, I'm Anne Granger."
Hello, Miss Granger. Yes, we are officers. We come to investigate a little bit of a sighting that you reported of a pale man who came by. Was that Tuesday?
That's kind of you, but I'm sure it was nothing. I don't know why I spoke of it at all.
He's wanted by the law. He's wanted by the law, and we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't give it a look.
Can I get an aura reading from this lady?
Sure. Is there an associated roll with that, or is that just you see it?
It's an
I think it's
awareness.
spirit.
Okay,
roll.
that's what I was thinking.
Oh.
I rolled a 5. I have an awareness of 5,
Cool.
luckily.
Yeah. From what you can see, I'm not exactly sure the best ways to describe auras, but you get the feeling that she is the equivalent of lawful good, basically. I mean, she seems like the type of person. I mean, she's a house mom who is inclined to just trust you because you're wearing uniforms.
I think the aura reading is supposed to be more like emotional. Like, is she distressed by bringing up this man, or you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So okay, sure. Yeah. When you bring it up, she does. You get a sort of nervousness about the aura, as though when she says that she wishes she hadn't brought it up. I'm sure it was nothing. She doesn't really believe that, and I'll give you another tidbit since you did make an awareness test. Although you were trying to focus on her aura, you did also notice that she's trying to conceal on the cuff of her sleeve what looks like maybe a burn mark.
Oh.
Does so when you do this, what does nervousness look like to your character, Tim?
So I would say it probably is like a little bit hard to focus in on her. Like, she's got sort of like a vibe.
She's got like a motion blur type
Yeah.
effect on her. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And
Dang.
so I set this up. I think James would say, my colleague is right, and unfortunately it is our duty to follow up on this. If you don't mind, just have a few minutes of your time.
Oh, I suppose it won't hurt. Certainly, officer. Please do come in.
Thank you. Yeah. Come on in, boys.
All right, I'm right behind you. Don't worry about it.
Is everybody coming in? I don't know if we talked about that.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody is just not walking and wearing the uniform. I didn't. You required. There was some convincing to get folks in uniforms, whether it be I don't take off my jeans for anyone but my wife, or make me a post-diplomacy roll. So
I just picture Dad, Bod, and myself following behind you guys.
Absolutely.
Like, in the area, mustache.
Right.
Would that burn
These
be
are
pretty
peculiar small houses. Much more room to spread out in the American Midwest.
Would that burn be pretty easy for the rest of us to see?
With an awareness test, yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to make one as well.
I got a 9.
Oh no.
And
I've got kinesthetics, which is reading body, like body posture and stuff.
Yeah.
So can I add that to my
Go
roll?
for it.
Cool.
I got
All
a
right.
5, and I have a 5 awareness. So whatever that is, I think that meets beats, right?
Well, my kinesthetics was a 3 and my awareness is a 4, so total I'm shooting for is 7. Her lithe, elderly body is able to conceal the burn with my
Oh, no.
8.
Jesus.
Now you two are rolling rocks, and it's hurting you.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like it would be pretty obvious to you guys, but John's actually a doctor. So,
Yeah, I thought so with the med kit, but I wasn't sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Probably
have
has that
loved to have
first aid
succeeded.
symbol and everything.
Oh,
I think Bernard would probably because your character has her attention. He would kind of stay back because he succeeded that and say, "Listen here, I can tell that you're a man of medicine or something, but she might hear my voice and be off about that, you know. So and burn on her arm. If you could get a closer look and see if it looks, so I'm not very sure. It might, it might be more than a regular burn, and I just want you to check if you get close to her."
Why are you whispering?
Because I have a German accent and it's very obvious. And so if she hears it being a British woman, she might be upset by this and kick me out of her home. I'd like to talk in my normal accent to you.
Ma'am, are you hurt?
Awesome. Which do you have points in medicine, John?
Yes. I have first aid and surgery.
What was your first aid score or points?
I have 4 points.
And
in
your
first
awareness
aid.
is how many? Okay.
3.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if that would have been enough for you to have noticed it. But you're certainly direct enough to ask her, and she'll say, she'll show you her burn and say, "Oh, it's nothing. It's silly me."
So, is it just like a minor burn and more than that? So I imagine when his sight kicks in, it's just like a silver sheen over his eyes. Is there any ectoplasm or anything else on that
Yeah,
burn?
what you can actually see is you can almost, and you might be used to it. I don't know how long John's had the sight, but it's like you could see an imprint of fingers clenched around her wrist that you could see, but they're definitely spectral.
Okay. Ma'am, I have a first aid kit here. I would like to put some petroleum on that.
Oh, that's awful kind of you. Sure. Thank you.
Don't worry, I'm a doctor. Here I roll a 10.
Trust me, I'm a Royal Air Force doctor speaking with an American accent. Got him.
I rolled a 2,
Nice.
and then I have 4 first aid and 3 awareness.
So with this one, what's your? Are you trying? So you're applying the medicine to her essentially. What's your knowledge, skill, rank, number?
2.
So same. So 2, 6. Yeah. So regular success, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, you're totally successful. If you'd
Ma'am,
no, I was
Go
just
ahead.
thinking something stupid. Don't worry about it.
so as I'm laying it on deck on her wrist, I'll just look her in the eyes. Ma'am, do you believe in spirits?
So I hate to break
Roll
the
to
thematics
seduce.
and pull out my saxophone, but no. And part of this is on me for not echoing Mr. Pilgrim's last emphatic warning before you left. I glossed over that on accident, but he would have said. He would have reminded the team that you must hide the extra mundane from the public if at all possible. So if there's any way to help someone rationalize
Killing it.
what, if anything, they saw.
Look, I had to pee. I left
No,
early.
for sure. And we can retcon that because that's totally on me. Right before, as John is thinking of asking, do you believe in spirits? He remembers the words of Mr. Pilgrim and all the training he's had at the Ministry of Extramundane Affairs. That one of the things they do, other than try and quell any evil, malicious activities, is also to help the public rationalize what's going on so as not to cause widespread panic.
Okay.
You just got
So
Professor
instead-
Oak, dude.
Right?
Professor Oak said you can't ride your bike in here, buddy.
So he's laying it on
And no,
thick.
and
Look at
that
her
was
lovely
me.
eyes.
That's not to say that you can't be. I mean, I don't want to tell you don't play your character if that's what John would say. I just wanted to make sure that you, D, had the information that I
Yeah.
forgot as a GM to give you.
Yeah, that's good. Ma'am, are you married?
And she sort of blushes, and she says, "Well, yes, my husband is. Well, he's in the war. He's out in Africa. So it's just me at home here with my 3 lovely boys. But yes, I am married."
And all
Dun,
you're
dun,
good?
dun, dun, dun.
This sounds like a hall pass situation, one I would never take. We should give these two some privacy. I love my wife.
Hey, bless the rains down in Africa. Leave into the kitchen.
Wow.
Wow.
Is there anyone who would wish you ill will?
Oh no, I mean, none. We mostly mind to ourselves here. I don't have any sort of enemies. What exactly are you suggesting, Doctor?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Perhaps,
Please.
perhaps we should get an idea of what happened on Tuesday. If you don't mind events. I know you said it was no big deal, but we really need to know.
All right, all right. So it was about midnight on Monday, and well, I woke up and it sounds silly, but I saw a man, but it was like I could almost see through him. He was wearing Victorian clothes and old clothes, very out of fashion, and he was standing over my bed. Honestly, he looked confused and scared, which certainly made me feel a bit more of the same myself, but he reached out for me, and I raised my arms to protect myself, and his hand gripped my wrist, but it was so cold, it was so frigid cold that it burned my skin, and if it wasn't for that burn, I would have believed it was just a bad dream. I mean, I screamed, and I closed my eyes, and he was gone, but the next morning the burn was still there, so I guess something must have happened. What do you think? What do you think was going on?
Do you happen to know
Must have
where?
happened cooking.
Yeah, where did this man enter your home? I know you saw him in your bedroom. Did he leave afterwards, or?
I don't know. After I opened my eyes, he disappeared. None of my doors were open. My windows weren't open. I didn't hear any doors close either. I don't know what to believe.
We've been dealing with a well, he's been all over town at this point, right, boys? This cat burglar that leaves almost no trace. And that's actually why we came to talk to you today, because he's been described as pale as a ghost, if you'd believe it. He just had never seen the sun. Much like my friend over here, my associate, just completely pale and can just enter and exit a house with a swiftness and a quietness. So you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it.
Wow, that's
The four of us are in the super secret piece of the Royal Air Force that keeps perverts off the streets.
Yeah, we'd like to, swoop in, as they say, in the Air Force.
Well, I can't say exactly what's going on. However, this looks like a chemical burn to me. Right, boys?
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Yes, I'm afraid something strange happened. As the bombings get in people's heads sometimes, and you think things. People sleepwalk. What may but I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Your home is quite.
Well, that's
Except for the cat burglar.
that's certainly a relief. I guess I don't. I didn't notice any belongings were missing. Maybe I scared him off. Perhaps. I don't.
I think so. You got quite the imposing presence.
And she just laughs.
Do you know your neighbor? Do you know your next door? 79.
Oh, 79. And you say that, and it doesn't take an aura reading to know that she is not happy with 79. And she tells you that her neighbor, Jack Timerson, and his friends, they are up late, drunk, making a racket all the time. And they are just no shortage of trouble making good for nothing layabouts.
All right, I can commiserate.
Ma'am, would you like us to look around the house before we go? Perhaps we can see if there's anything at odds.
I mean, certainly, especially with this talk of cat burglar, if maybe there's something you'll notice that I didn't even see was missing. But by all means, there's not much to see. I mean, we're here in the parlor, and there's the stairs up to the left, and then our bedroom to the right, and yes, certainly look around.
So, John's gonna lean back. Nazi, come with me.
Oh, well, you call me by such a nice name. I suppose I'll follow you. So yeah, he would. Bernard would follow.
Who does any?
I guess we're on the lookout. Go ahead.
What's up?
I was just gonna say we're gonna be on the lookout for anything my sight would show, or I could roll a perception check for you.
Nice. I do want to give an opportunity. Does anyone have skill points in phantasmology, arcane lore, or are evocationists or neuromancers of some kind?
Does lore Nazi count?
I have phantasmology.
Perfect. Roll, and in this case, sadly, Bernard, Nazi lore.
Lore Nazi does not work.
Applicable here. It may come up.
And they were studying it. They were studying it.
I believe it. I believe it.
What about my skill, artisan, insurance salesman?
You can keep it
That-
preoccupied.
that you-
while
Yeah,
we
you
look.
could definitely. That'd be a great stall tactic.
Insurance is an art, after all.
All right. Well, while they're creeping around, I'm going to talk to this old lady about the benefits of getting home insurance when you're getting bombed.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure deductibles are sky high in this war. But John, could you roll a knowledge plus phantasmology?
Yeah.
Sounds
I rolled
insane.
a 5, and my knowledge is 2, phantasmology is 2, so that's a 4.
So that would be so fail. You rolled over your 4. I did want to remind you.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a pressure situation. This is me being a super great DM. Each of you has 3 fortune tokens, which can be used to add 1. So that any point, and you could add more than you could cash all three of them in if you wanted to, on a single roll at any time later. But especially since you missed by 1, and if this was something you wanted to, you could cash in. But also anyone could just roll a knowledge test without any added skill as well. So don't feel like you have to.
I'm gonna roll a knowledge test since I'm with him.
Okay. And by the way, John's
And
incredibly
I fail, but not a critical fail. I got a 7, and my score is 4. So I also don't get it. Can we cast these tokens on other people?
I don't think so.
I actually don't have any tokens.
No,
by
you
the way.
do. Everyone has 3.
I grabbed misfortune.
Oh no.
Oh no!
So you don't get fortune
Oh.
tokens?
No, you spend them and you get XP
Wow.
instead.
Then
All right, so that's it.
yeah. Shucks.
Is it?
Oh, we don't
There's no
know.
downside to trying a knowledge check untrained,
Yeah.
yeah?
I mean, as long as you got knowledge, you could crit fail it, but at this point, it's not like you're
I feel like this is
trying to
important.
load a gun with something running at you or something.
Yeah,
So-
knowledge 2.
It's only in the next 10 minutes.
Roll
Nice.
a 2.
Nice.
That's phenomenal. So, putting 2 and 2 together,
Ah,
Boom.
I wish I was that clever on purpose.
sign off. We
Mic
can't
drop.
beat that.
No, I'm borrowing this mic. So you have learned enough, even though it's not necessarily your expertise in this particular realm of the extramundane. You think that Mr. Pilgrim was spot on. That this sounds like a spirit that could have been from a miscast, and because you made your knowledge roll, you would know that these sorts of miscasts have to be they only affect a pretty narrow area. So it's either someone in her home or, oddly enough, in the home next door, number 79, because her bedroom is on that side of the house that would be adjacent to number 79.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it looks like my intuition on that door was maybe apt.
Let's go take care of these disgruntled youth.
I will relay this information to those of you before you go upstairs to investigate the house. I'll let you know what I just intuited, I guess.
Can you make me, Steve? Can you make me an influence roll to see if you can resist to mow their lawn?
Oh no. If I crit fail this, it's over. My influence is a 2. I rolled a 9.
Oh god!
Rolls up
So,
his
you know-
sleeves.
In this situation, I would say courage is more applicable to. So what's your courage?
that might be right.
Yeah.
That's a 5, so I still
Oh,
crit
man.
fail it.
And you would know.
Seems to be mowing the lawn.
You would know as an insurance salesman and an artisan that having such overgrown yards is actually a danger to the home, because it would increase the chances of infestation of pests.
Brings down the property value
Yeah.
of the whole
Pests like termites, they'll thrive in those overgrown lawns. You can't control it, and live by the dice. Die by the
Terrible.
dice.
Much worse than the bombing that's going on.
God damn it!
So are we going to leave the house then and just go right to 77?
I think at this point, we looked around. We have a lead now with that knowledge check. I think check next door. I don't know if somebody wants to stay and keep her occupied. I can certainly attempt the lock because I have that as a skill, unless somebody else does as well.
Why don't we just say, like, thank you, Miss Granger. We're going to look next door our neighbors as well, if you don't mind. If you hear any noise, you know them to be troubles.
Yeah, perfect. In character.
I don't
Boom,
think
10.
anybody needs to stay and keep her occupied. We should all preserve our virtue.
I don't think that's what...
Says a man who's been away from his wife.
I only have feelings for my wife.
Don't forget to keep putting jelly on that.
That's gonna help her.
He just gives her a wink and walks out.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. It's a relief to know that everything's okay.
Of course, we'll have this cat burglar in no time.
And the chemicals. Oh,
And
Yes, sir.
chemicals all over his hands.
who knows where they might be? We'll capture them.
Nazi cat burglar.
Palm residue.
Gotta come up with some explanation for a burn.
It's a chemical cat burglar.
He strikes
knew it.
again.
Knew it from the start.
How he gets to the house, he just slowly...
Call him
defies
slug
the
man.
wall.
Trail that he leaves behind him. To a house. You can't hear him enter the doors or the windows, but you see the snail trail behind him.
Much more plausible than a ghost.
100%.
Much less extra mundane.
So, by the way, we have a breaking and entering kit. In case we need it. Yeah.
We haven't knocked yet, though, right?
I didn't want to make you feel railroaded in that, but it's true. None of you have thought about just, knocking or ringing a bell.
Do you want to bring the ghost right to us? Come on, we can surprise them.
Spirit needs to put down.
There are enemies.
We have an idea.
Also, drive your car
killed
through
for
the
this.
wall of the house.
That's also true.
So, out of curiosity, I have bushcraft. If I roll that, could we tell if there's people coming in or out of the house?
Like basically a survival equivalent?
There we go.
Sure. It'd be a knowledge plus bushcraft.
Be knowledge or awareness?
Yeah, awareness is fine.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
you
geez.
see, loves
I rolled
the
a
bush.
10.
Oh no.
Oh god.
You're too good at this dice rolling game. It's not for you.
Too good at bushcraft.
I always roll 20.
That's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, so tracks in every direction.
There must be a whole river
As they say.
Flamingos.
Oh, man.
They're shapeshifters now.
Nazi, do you want to open the door, or should I kick it down?
Or should we knock?
Well, I feel like I could probably open it without, so much trouble. Give me a shot, and if I fail, then, you just push me through the door. I don't care.
Seems I'm
I'm
being
gonna start doing
outvoted.
calisthenics behind you.
Damn it.
And just to be clear, when we were dividing, off camera, but when we were dividing up team equipment, Griffin, your character definitely took the leather blindfold, face mask, and tongue immobilizer, right?
Duh. Fucking duh, dude.
Is that on the list?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
sure
on the
is.
equipment.
All right. What would lockpicking be plus? Is that?
I think reflexes.
Like reflex?
Yeah,
Yeah.
reflexes seem
All
like
right.
you're trying to brute force it.
All right. So I have a total of 6. Yes. I rolled a 3. So I imagine even without the lockpicking kit, I don't know what that adds, but
Yeah, that's definitely a success, and you catch the tumblers just right. And I mean, it's not a high security door by any chance, so you're able to
Right.
pick this residential lock without much of a challenge, even with your leather blindfold on.
my tongue immobilizer.
Sensory
How about
deprivation.
GIMP rolling behind it?
Just the gimp lockpicker.
I only knock pick nude.
Damn, he's good.
Do you know how some people have to take all their clothing off when they take a shit? Well, I can only pick a lock in certain circumstances that are ripe for the ridicule. I would appreciate if you guys would not make fun of me while I do this.
And thankfully, you're quick enough at it.
We all have needs.
Thankfully, you're quick.
Is he really going to take off his clothes?
That's up to you, and you wanting to risk getting arrested.
No, that was the leather
sure.
blindfold tongue immobilizer
Ah.
that I was using. It was just a metaphor.
Oh man! So you're able to get in quick enough with that success that you're not drawing any attention from the neighbors.
John, what do your Cherokee eyes see?
We call it Eagle Sight.
Oh. What do your eagle eyes see?
He's going over semantics and he keeps calling me a fucking Nazi. Like,
I rolled
Not
an 8.
fair.
so
You are a Nazi.
Man, you roll so
I
high.
was a Nazi and now I'm not. Give me the schnapps.
So I failed that by 2.
Yes.
It looks like, or no,
Okay.
3.
Whew. So not a dreadful failure by any means, but you're not able to get a great reading. What you're seeing doesn't really. I mean, I sort of see the sight as somewhat finicky, but the fact you have to roll for it, it's not always accurate, always on.
So from what it said in the book, it's like it's just always present. So they made the example of if someone has like a glamour, you would always just see right through it. Or if there's like a fae who's like trying to pretend to be something else, you just automatically see through. So
he might be more powerful than you could ever have imagined.
Yeah, so what you're getting
looks like the eagle's not with me.
you're not getting specifics, but you definitely detect something odd, particularly odd, coming from this house. It's not elegant. It looks kind of messy, which is kind of hard to explain, but it might make more sense.
Could I make a forensics check?
Well, yeah. Are you still out in the street, or have you entered this home?
No, I imagine I would have been the first to
Cool.
enter, picking the lock. So like
And we all
obviously
follow.
we have John like behind me, kind of just like looking out for spirits, and I think his kind of failure to do so is more a reflection of like him not being the first person in, more so than like his sight failing him. So like as I get in, I'd like to take a look around.
Yeah, by all means, awareness and forensics, investigation, whatever you have.
If forensics works. Okay, perfect. So that'll
So
bring
I'm
me
just
to a
getting
total
weird.
of +8 with my 5 awareness and my 3 forensics. And I rolled a 3.
That's a stunning success. Ha!
Find me standing in my home. I had to leave it. You know. Things about being a Nazi. You don't want that, you know. Don't want that on your permanent record or anything.
So I'm going to give you some...
On the record, I'll enter the house as
okay.
well.
All right. I think one of the most important things that you might notice is you can hear basically faint snoring coming from the living room, which you're in the parlor at this point. There's a and the living room door is sort of like ajar. You can't really see into the room great, but it's not shut, and you hear a faint snoring from coming within there, which would be a dead giveaway that there's someone home. And as far as forensically, there's really not a whole lot in this entryway other than the fact that it does have regular wear, multiple sort of different foot and boot marks that really just sort of track with Anne's testimony. Like this is a guy that has friends over all the time, and somebody right now it's about like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and someone is just snoring away in the living room. So probably not the like classiest, most responsible person.
Sure.
Or vampire.
Could I as I kind of like I hear this snoring, I'd like to just kind of turn to the rest of the group and be like, shh. There's someone here, and I think that it would be in our best interest if we were stealthy.
Very well,
Knock
Nazi.
the door.
You don't have to say Nazi so loud. You know, he might wake up.
Very well, Nazi.
Okay, that's
Much
better. The stream.
No, I heard that good.
Does
I'm gonna roll
anyone
a
have
fantasy
stealth?
knowledge check. I do.
Yeah.
You.
Should we make a stealth check?
I don't have stealth. I have just no. I think well, its reflexes is tied up in that. I think maybe
Because I have a 5 reflexes.
Yeah.
because there's like a opposed check with awareness. Or
Yeah,
something.
I'm imagining.
Yeah, and then there's it's like 3.5. They have 2 parts to stealth: silent movement and concealment.
Okay.
I am very well. No longer wearing black leather. Otherwise,
I should have.
Yeah, the leather creaks when you move.
but it's all black.
It's oiled, so
Oh
it
yeah,
doesn't.
he takes care
I do
to
have night
carefully
vision
oil
if
himself.
if that matters.
At night, maybe. I mean,
Well, no, I just figured
Come
this
back.
house was. Remember when JT was talking about everything being like all the
Oh.
windows being kind of like,
Tapes.
yeah.
yeah.
I was wondering if it was like super dark in here.
Yeah,
Hey
there's
Jay, I rolled a phantasmology check and I passed.
sweet. That's great. Yeah. So you are confident now. Like it definitely all comes together. That whatever happened, that would have summoned spirits, definitely happened from not far at all from where you're located. Like it happened in this house.
The spirits come from here.
That is interesting revelation that we have. But it seems there's like a living man in the other room. Maybe we should make sure he's not a threat or something.
I think we should just stay as quiet as we are. He shouldn't be a threat. At this point, we've already broken into his house.
Do you want to come up with me then, Mr. Irishman?
Sure. Why not? What could go wrong?
I think we would sell forward.
I'm going to whip out the Ouija board.
Yeah,
I think
Bernard,
this is the
Bernard
right
would
time.
pull out Goot again and Goot knocked just in case.
I just
Out
think it was
of
all
the
being really
silence.
quiet. And out of nowhere, you just hear a shotgun cock.
You shotgun the dad.
There's just a very
So, would that be? Is that reflexes to sneak around?
Yeah, you could do reflexes or stealth.
I
Then
do
yeah,
not have
just
a
straight
stealth.
I don't think I have any
reflexes is
more
fine.
stealth.
All right.
John is pretty
Five.
stealthy. If you want me to go with
Five,
you.
and I'm. Yeah, you should come. I didn't know if you had stealth or anything. I asked for stealth, and nobody said anything. So.
Oh, sorry
Yeah,
about
sure.
that.
No, you're fine.
I am a hunter amongst my people.
All right, I 5. I rolled a 5.
Nice.
Beats.
I beat it as well. I got a 6.
I also
Or,
beat
no,
it.
I
had
rolled a
5,
4.
and I rolled a 4.
In the doorway.
yeah. Maybe I'll just hang out in the back, the doorway. I'll come with. Fuck it.
Nice.
Natural 1.
So all four of you.
Oh,
The
amazing.
stealthiest dad bod you've ever seen.
It's those New Balance
Dude,
sneakers.
Yeah, it's all that fat soul on the bottom
You ever
of those New
heard? They
Balances.
call these sneakers.
Beautiful.
Oh my god.
And thus concludes our adventure.
Oh.
Can't beat it. We peaked.
Can't beat it.
So the four of you are able to basically go wherever you want around this house without. I mean, it would have been a pretty. Basically, would have had to fumble for a sleeping person to notice you, and you didn't.
Sure. I go ahead, Steve.
Oh no,
sorry,
I was
thought
just
you were-
throwing up
you were-
devil horns because it's good.
I think at least Bernard's first instinct would be to check out the sleeping person. I don't know if we want to split up at all, but that would be, I think, where he was going because he just wants to make sure that like this guy isn't a threat. If the dude's got a fucking pump action shotgun next to his couch, then we might need to confiscate that.
Or if the site shows anything around them.
Exactly, that too.
The Ouija board does require 2 people, so. And
I'm not gonna hold your hand.
He said that, but I feel like he'd be. Oh wait, no, I'm German now. He did say that, but I do think that if anyone were to, be a part of your Ouija board experiment, he would maybe be able to see the other hand guiding you guys around.
Good. I don't think he wants to.
It sounds like it's a fun, but some twist a man's arm. I've done it before.
The eagle will show me everything I need.
All right, I'll just wait here by myself then.
I'll do it with you. I just want to see this man
No, you should
first.
do that. Yeah. Do that first.
I'm scared of the devil. I don't want to touch the Ouija board.
Fantastic.
So, would I roll like an awareness or something on the dude, or can I just see that he's like,
So
is what he is?
So you're
sleeping on
opening the
couch?
door to the living room all the way? So what
Yeah.
you see when you open the door to the living room is, without the need for even a roll quite yet, you can see that there is a circle made of chalk drawn on the floor, and it's a pretty dead giveaway that somebody's trying to magic, probably with a K.
Sorcery.
And yeah, you notice an open book next to the magic circle, and apart from that, the room just looks trashed. Like he's passed out. The only thing he has near him is like an empty bottle, and no weapons of any kind that you could see. He's a
bottle's a weapon
That's
in the
true.
right context.
True.
Yeah, the equivalent of 1940s
Jay-
British solo cups, just all over the place.
All right, perfect.
Yep.
Jay, I have a question. My guy's on this is divinity, so he's like a chosen one, kind of. Would so his father's a shaman, so he believes in the spirits. Would that have like any guiding context onto what to do with this book if I want to destroy it or get rid of it?
Yeah, so knowledge, and do you have like arcane lore?
I have sorcery and I have phantasmology, and then I'm essentially a divine
Okay.
fist.
Yeah, so you would be able to learn about those books. I don't know that you'd really know. It's like,
So like when I read the ability, basically what it does is it allows you to enchant any weapon you touch to hurt demons or spirits
Awesome.
or anything like that. So I don't know if I can like take my axe out and like break the book quietly or something. Or if it would like, I don't know.
so what you can tell, rolling over your phantasmology roll from earlier, I mean, you're not seeing, like, you're not in a room full of swirling spirits, any equivalent of like an active magical ritual going on right now. What you're seeing is more someone did magic here, and the setup is such that they could do magic again, but there's not anything currently happening in this room.
Okay. The spirits are gone, but the book was the source.
Out of character, I have to say, your character is dope as fuck. Like thinking about all the abilities.
Really
he
cool,
has, I'm
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, this guy just came to fucking Britain. He's like,
But he's unlucky.
oh yeah, but
Yeah,
he's not using this word.
Crazy unlucky.
Oh jeez, oh jeez.
That's how he ended up with us.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I have a question then. So does this mean that the summoned on Tuesday is still here? I mean, does it stick around for a while? Do we need to exercise it? Or what is our objective knowing this now?
So initially, all you were tasked to do was to determine whether these were miscasts, and if they were, to find out what caused it, and if there are, basically keep things in accordance to your organization's rules. So if there was somebody who was training to do magic, they would need to be registered with the ministry. If they shouldn't be using magic, like they're just incompetent drunk people, perhaps, then you might want to.
Whoa.
I'm not saying those two things go together. I'm saying,
Cool it.
Judge.
They could be very
I feel
competent
judged
drunk people.
personally.
I've rolled dice with competent drunk people, just recently in Seattle, in Dusseldorf, Paris, France, and But yeah, if they're not actually people who could responsibly use magic, then you would either want to contact the ministry or confiscate their materials or something along those lines.
Hey
Sup?
JT, I got a quick question. Can you stand up like 1 foot?
Maybe.
Is that a
Yeah,
praise
it is.
log shirt right there? I feel like I saw the top. Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
sick, dude. Sorry, I just had to. I had to make sure. I saw the top filigree, and I was like, I think that's the right shirt, but I'm not positive.
Praise log.
That's awesome.
May your logs be smooth.
So I think I have something I can do here, but I'm trying to double check because I have ritual magic.
Not very
But-
magical guy. Weirdly,
I
enough.
know.
I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, I don't really have animal husbandry. Does that work here? What about Lord Nazi?
I forgot to ask. I was actually a little confused. So I have ritual magic, but I wanted to make sure how many points it was. I didn't know if it was just the skill like the rest or if it was something special that was extra points. Because it's in a different category than everything else.
Oh shoot! I feel like that's how my dual wielding is.
Yeah, it is. It's a special ability.
So is the cost more or is it the same?
They should have this be next to the special ability that says how much it costs.
It's
Not
listed on page
there?
70 for some reason.
So you're talking
Seven.
from the
Yeah, it's all the way at the bottom of the book.
So the ritual magics, yeah, those chapters on the magic, it wasn't super easy to follow, I think, on how it all works.
Right.
It really, from what I gathered, as long as you have the elements required for ritual magic, then it's assumed if you can follow it, you just kind of do it.
All right. So I have like 4 skill points marked for ritual. Because I feel like. So the 4 elements are power source, a frame, a sympathetic object, and an incantation. So do you not need skill points for it? You just do
You
it?
can do it wrong, so I mean, it can miscast. It's, man, I wish I was...
So why don't we just say I have
Yeah.
4 points in it? Because I think that's how
You can certainly
neuromancy-
do it wrong. Please do it wrong.
Yeah.
So
Let's
yeah,
see
I
what
would
happens.
assume that you would add that to your sorcery when you're trying to when you're trying to follow a ritual.
Okay. So I think I can do something about this. And out of
I mean, why wouldn't you then?
out of game, I think he can do some kind of ritual to reverse what they did, or to block them from doing it.
Is there anything, any skill? And I completely forget this. Is there any sort of aid in this game? I can't remember. And I
There's
don't
actually
think there is.
3
Oh,
different kinds of
aid.
aid.
There is.
Is there an aid?
Yeah, I remember reading about it.
It says each spell is just 5 XP. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Each spell it's listed under magics in the same way neuromancy is.
It is a spell, right?
But in this game, you make spells. You don't have them. It's
Oh.
kind of weird.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, I think
Sorry to interrupt.
I know we're all learning it at the same time.
Yeah. Like, this
Oh,
game
I
is
see.
not out yet, folks that are listening here on Twitch.
Yeah.
So we're trying our best, folks, and I think he's doing a pretty fucking good job.
Oh, yeah.
Through this.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but long story short, we need a
Mhm.
power source. We need a frame. So the frame could be the circle they already have. The sympathetic object can be the book they already have, or that could be the power source. We have consecration oil, and I can do an incantation.
We could
All right.
sacrifice
I mean,
a
that
soul
sounds like.
for power.
Well, there's a drunk dude sleeping on the couch.
We'll have to address him first, but I might have some Native American wuju to help resolve
With-
the problem.
All right, I'm into it.
Ooh, I like
This
that.
happened.
I love that. And to circle back to the is there a way to aid, on page 31 of your rule books, there's 3 different types of aiding. You can either, and since it's you're only looking at basically what, and there's not a lot of clear guidance on what this would be mechanically. Whether it be a test or a task. I think it's more of a test because it's not. I think it doesn't sound like a series of tests, but like a test that you'd be doing. in which case you could either have somebody, you'd get a bonus equal to half someone's relevant skill on a roll, or even somebody who is just like, I can hand you the oil, could effectively give you a +1.
Okay, I think that's definitely what Bernard would like to do. Would be, as long as we're relatively sure this guy's like asleep.
Or we can bind them up and then do this and then interrogate them.
So I do have leather straps. I'm not sure if that's
I'm a tongue
mobilizer. We could immobilize his tongue or something, but it's been used, unfortunately. I guess he won't mind.
Yeah, baby, should we do that? Should we bind him up? Do you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think so.
I think
Do we want to talk? If we talk to him on word, we won't get the ritual off, and that's what I want to do.
I want to keep this discreet still, and I don't know how this plays into the ministry's objective to keep things quiet. Like we
I
can pull
think
it off.
we don't want
without
the
waking
dude
them up.
kicking and screaming and knowing what we just did. But I have the distinct impression that as a dude that's drunk and asleep right here, he probably knows a thing or two about the magic circle and the book
Fair enough.
that are in his house.
Maybe.
Or
Do I have a
else that,
tranquilizer by any chance in the first aid kit?
I wouldn't expect that to be a
see,
normal like a tranquilizing agent would probably be less common.
he's got 20 vials of ketamine in his
I
first
see
aid kit.
sodium
Nice
pentothal.
truth serum.
Weird.
and we all have handcuffs.
Uh,
And if we
We have six
Okay,
forwards
okay.
and no points.
Here's what I will propose as a plan. I would like two of us, and again, you guys can interject at any point to poke holes or provide a different solution. But I think John needs to be the one that is doing the ritual. I think we need a backup on him doing the ritual to help him out with the checks. I think we should have at least one person watching the sleeping guy with handcuffs or something ready. But I feel like handcuffing somebody is almost enough to wake them up. You know what I mean? So I think as long as he's asleep, it depends on, this ritual could be as quiet or as loud as flavor dictates. But I think we try the ritual while he's asleep, and if he happens to wake up, maybe we cuff him, maybe we try and calm him down. So maybe 2 and 2, or maybe 3 and 1. It doesn't really matter. And I'm okay to go to the dude that's asleep too, if we think that's a better allocation of our stuff. But I think, in my opinion, that would be the route we maybe take.
John has a really mean grappling check. I could just put him to sleep, or use him as
What does John not have?
Well, he has 5 physique, and then he's a melee fighter.
It's a physique, baby.
That's awesome.
But I don't know. What if we could use them in the ritual? I have 4 melee weapon and 5 physique. So I imagine I could choke him out with the peace pipe and make it the ritual.
What you're saying is that you want
We
to,
sacrifice a person that we don't know.
want to
the
use his
ritual.
soul as the power source.
To close what he opened.
But we don't know that he opened it.
That's true.
I'm a Nazi, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, he's at least some sort
It's
of
a good
malcontent.
idea. Yeah, but if we get the information, I guess. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's not okay to just sacrifice this dude that just happened to get drunk into sleeping here. Granted,
Yeah, I'm
I
not
see
trying
that-
to sacrifice him, but I don't know how the grappling works. I only read it a little bit, but I think we can knock him out permanently, so he doesn't wake up while
Yeah.
we're doing this.
would that be?
Or-
I mean, is the peace pipe actually a weapon for you? That might be a good call. Well, okay, an axe maybe not, but we have a blunt
Blunt
weapon
ends.
you could hit him in the head with and maybe not kill him. That might be good.
Dude, I
We
forget
have a
what
crowbar.
We do have
James.
a crowbar.
James is going to think about this while taking a piss outside.
I'll see you in 2 minutes.
needs to roll his silent
And if
check.
it all goes to shit, Peter can dump 3 buckshot shells into him in
That's
one
what I'm thinking
round.
too. I feel like Peter's our enforcer, and
The dad.
in a way, it's kind of like he could just stand watch, and if something goes awry,
Yeah.
be the
That's my job.
That's why I was thinking either me and you watch the dude, or
So, by the way, I stand corrected. You can't put someone in a chokehold and like knock them out unless you get the martial artist.
Okay.
Otherwise, all you can do is restrain them.
I'll take this opportunity to also ponder things for about a minute and a half.
How are you guys liking the game so far?
This game is so dope. I have been excited about this since Jairus. Is that how he says it? Jairus?
Jairus.
I always say Jairus, but I thought he said
I
Jairus.
thought he said Jairus.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Since JT told me about it, I've been like hyped about it. And we met him out in Seattle a couple weeks ago, and it was a blast. We played some Apocalypse World, and it was a good time.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been fun so far. I just kind of made the character right before we started.
Oh, I'm the same way. I built it on the. I mean, like I said at the beginning, like their Excel thing, their Excel character sheet's great. I mean, it's
a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had the idea of like native.
When we first floated. That's great. I love it. We first floated the idea of doing this. I know we kind of talked about doing, that would be easy. We play Pathfinder all the time. And then we wanted to do this new system. And I was like, son of a bitch, I have to like actually think about this and read a lot of stuff. But it's so worth it. I've been having so much fun. This is a cool game.
There's a lot I like about it. I think the magic scene, it has like the biggest potential to be the most fun, but it's also the most confusing.
Sure.
Because they have a bunch of adjectives, and it's like, when you cast a spell, you layer the adjectives, I believe, and it makes it more difficult. So
Wow.
It's kind of like Morrowind's build a spell.
That's really cool. Yeah, I avoided magic just because, this being the first time, I wanted to do something kind of simple. But that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I just put points in ritual because he's a shaman. I was like, I guess I need to. But besides that, no magic.
Hey, and it's about to pay off.
Right.
So you're not like a neuromancer or anything. It's just like,
just ritual. Just ritual.
How did you put points in where in skills, or
so they don't have like if you look at neuromancer, it has a separate listing, and the same thing for evocation, but they have ritual listed as the third one of that, but they don't have I haven't seen an exact point place for it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it on the character sheet either. I just avoided it too. I was like, I don't understand how to do this.
So I had 20 points dropped in it, but I don't know if it needs more or less or what.
As an oddity, you have 20. Or where did you?
I put it on
downright odd.
Is it on downright odd? Is it on downright odd?
Not the ritual magic.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a typo. Or maybe it's a typo, or maybe I have no idea.
Nor do I.
Yeah. I didn't know
Welcome back, JT.
it's part of Divine Instrument. But
You took divine instrument.
yeah, I did take Divine Instrument.
Yeah, so everyone started with 350 experience except D, who started with 2,000. So he put points in everything.
Wish. You got to see JT in my game. He is so min-maxed.
Yeah, I deal almost no damage.
Somehow I
but
do it.
You gotta do what you can when you roll ones in a D20 games as often as I do.
He built this whole
now.
character concept around rolling ones and surviving.
Yeah, it works. He's a lucky halfling. I don't know.
He's a swashbuckler investigator hybrid.
Oh, dude, I played that once. I was an inspired blade swashbuckler, one investigator, the rest, so I could get the weapon finesse, weapon focus, whatever on the rape here. Oh, baby, and then just the inspired or whatever it is, basically the steady target that the Slayer gets is so dope. And then you take Kieran's stop for the intelligence to damage.
Oh, it's coming.
You're hitting.
He'll die before he gets that feat because D kills my characters. But if he somehow lives, it'll be pretty cool. No,
He's
it's
not
true.
going to live.
He already shattered my cold iron rapier, so that's cool.
That's always good. That's always
Ooh.
nice.
So did you roll a double one for that?
I
Is that what
definitely
happened?
fumbled the fortitude save, and then I confirmed it. Well, not with that second one, but yeah, I fumbled. Classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
okay,
man.
so it's just fucking blow. Not him like purposely
I mean,
destroying your shit.
It
It's
feels
just
like both.
many ones in a row.
The Fae had shatter as a ability, not even a
Yeah.
spell. So it's not all
Curious.
my fault.
So, what did we decide?
Let's hop back into it, shall we? I think we're doing the ritual. Anyone jump in? Sorry, I'm throwing cans around now. Anybody jump in if this is out of line, but I think we have American Dad over here stand over the body with his shoddy as the last case resort. We have Whiskey McGee maybe with the shackles
I thought that was you.
Oh no, then I will stand with the shackles and you want to aid.
I just meant your name's Whiskey McGee.
Well, yeah. Fair. Okay.
I can stand over the shackles. That's fine.
Okay, so you want to stand with the shackles. I will attempt to aid in this ritual, and John will be that ritual. We're going to try and keep it on the DL, keep this guy asleep, but if the ritual requires more sound, we have two dudes in the wings to pacify this guy on the couch. Else.
All right, I'm game for this. It's going to be a
All right.
fail, and it's going to be hilarious.
You never know, man.
So,
Get to it.
your goal is to. What is it you're trying to do?
Basically, either I want to break the book, or like seal whatever they opened up, or some combination of the two, or exercise the spirit if this was like the place that originated from and it's still localing, or call it back home. Yeah, I don't necessarily know the context or the mechanics of it. So we'll throw some
Yeah, so you're
JT
gonna
magic on there.
roll like what, a sorcery
I've
plus
been-
ritual?
Just start mix mastering. We got it.
Can I see your Ouija board?
Oh, yeah. Well,
So he's going to
I'll-
take it, wrap it in the jacket, and then break it in half. So it makes no noise.
Whoa!
I believe that was property of the ministry, but all right.
He'll use that to be the wood to make a little bonfire for his sage. For the ritual.
Appropriate.
Awesome.
Plenty of trees outside.
No, so there are quite break things. We do have a sleeping guest.
This guy
Are we
must
sure
be
we want to do
trashed.
this?
if
He
he's not
is.
waking up during this.
In fact,
He's got a negative 20
yeah,
to
it's
perception.
even described in the scenario that he is spectacularly hungover.
I'm there.
Oh, are we
I
sure
looked
we
up
want
some-
to do this?
I looked at some Irish slang for drunk. Say he's gazebo.
Gazeboed.
Hi.
Yeah,
He's Faith and Bagora. I believe he's gazeboed over there.
the gazebo.
Gazeboed.
All
All
right.
right, so let's start this ritual, man. To aid, it's a relevant skill check for
So
me,
if you
right?
want to give him half, if you actually had a relevant skill that you could want to give him half of your score, you would roll to aid. If you just want to say like, here, I'll hand you the matches, or here, I'll do whatever, then you can just grant him a +1.
So let me think. I don't think I have any, at least from the skills perspective, like a ritual facing skill. I do have foreknowledge. I don't know if like the knowledge and that stuff, like your deaths play into that, but I have lore Nazi.
Punch you in the mouth.
He reminds me of Baron with Fisherman.
Yeah. Can you roll proficiency?
Oh,
for
Nazi.
I mean, the Nazis did know a lot in Raiders of the Lost Ark, I believe, about such ritual magic.
This is true. I have a terrible
Ain't
sorcery
wrong.
score. And
Oh,
then,
I also have a terrible sorcery score.
so what I'm trying to figure out is for ritual, should I consider it an oddness and it doesn't get a plus, or is it a skill and it goes to a plus? That's
I think in this case we can make it a plus because it's a little ambiguous.
okay. Well, I'm gonna roll a 10. So let's see. I have a 7, and my sorcery is a 2. My ritual's a 4, so that's a 6 plus the 1.
Wait.
Yeah,
Ties,
because
baby.
you aided.
Nice.
So as this sage burns inside a home on like a living room floor, you are channeling this Cherokee
Sounds right.
magic.
He
And
just
we
starts, like,
took
mumbling.
some next level racism, and
Make you feel better. I'm Native
it does
American.
help a little. I was pretty sure you'd mentioned it at one point, so that's fine. So it makes it actually gives you a racial +1. No, that was uncalled for. But yeah, you are able to perform this ritual, and the chalk basically dissipates into the floor, and now from your eagle eyes of the eagle true sight powers, you can sort of see that whatever was going on in this room has been deactivated.
All right.
It is
Hey, we
done.
did it.
The dude
I
just
just got
got
so
So
smashed.
funny enough that you ask, you kind of hear this like faint, the snore change to a sniff, and you hear this drunken voice that's still face down on his couch say, "Bob, are you lighting up cigarettes in my room again?"
You going to have to
Just
shoot him,
marijuana.
American Dad?
I'll pretend to be his roommate and just say, "Oh, I thought you were asleep," and then light a cigarette.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So why don't you make me an influence check? Yep,
Add deception to this.
I like it so much.
What's a
fucking deception.
5
Just
total?
put a cigarette in his mouth.
That's some deception, right?
Yeah. I'm
Roll
looking
that
for
for-
cigarettes on the field officer.
So you
field
just,
ticket list.
Crushed
I'm
it.
sure they're all
Natural
there.
one, nice.
Natural one. I had a 5. Yeah.
Oh, that's a crit success or whatever we're calling it, right? That's more than
A smashing
4 over.
success.
Smashing.
Stunning.
I wanted to call it smashing
That's what it
also,
was.
like so often. So yeah,
Smashing.
he's just like, "Oh, all right. Yeah, I was trying to sleep. I think I missed work again. What day is it?" And then he vomits.
It'll be all right. I clean up the vomit.
Can I roll a reflex to make sure it doesn't hit me at all?
Yeah.
Doesn't hit your leather.
So, drunken Jack Timerson, he does sort of start to sit up, though, now that he's puked all over himself. And he takes a look at you four and was like, "Who the bloody hell are you? What are you doing in my home?"
Oh, it's
We're
I'm Bob.
roommates or something.
"Bob, you look decidedly more Irish than you did yesterday."
be ill
Ah.
gazeboed. Jake, go back to bed.
"My bloody name's Jack. Who are you?"
Jack. Sorry. What's up?
Deceive him. You're our deceiver.
What are you talking about? I've always been Bob and you've always been Jake. Must be really blasted.
Yeah, he's I mean, feel free to roll, but I think the jig is up.
I think the jig is up too.
All right, I pull out
gonna
good Abend.
You're drawing guns on this drunk guy in his home.
Well, I could
Can I roll?
bullets in his chest.
Can I roll?
Ask him
diplomacy?
to see his hands and then handcuff him. Assuming he's still drunk enough to comply.
Sorry, it's a little hard to hear you, Tim.
I just wanted to take his hands and handcuff him.
Yeah.
If possible. Do I roll for that?
Yeah. Why don't we? He's gonna try.
What if I sleight of handed it? Sleight of hand check? I have a
Sure.
skill in that.
He's drunk enough that there's a pretty good chance this just works.
All right. And you wanted to add it to.
I think
like,
reflexes
melee?
and sleight of hand make sense.
All right, that'll be a 9.
Oh wow.
Crushed it.
Yep.
Oh baby.
Yeah, before he
Put him
could
on.
even like try and stumble to his feet, he's like, I don't remember being handcuffed. Like, you just like, it was like magic.
Yes.
I'm just gonna look at the German.
I need to go
looking at
run
me
out
like
to the
that?
car for
And do you
something.
had a crush on me since we met? Fine.
And
Is this your book?
oh, funny story that. See, me and a few of my bloke friends. Yes, I see your uniforms. I'll be honest, I'm seeing like 6 of you guys there. I don't know how many there really are. I'm incredibly sloshed.
12.
I've never been gazeboed though. That will be a first. However, me and my buddies, Fred, Two Pies, and Bob, we maybe if I cooperate, you guys will like that or something. Oh God, some junk. So Jack tells you that Fred, Harry, Two Pies, so Fred, Two Pies, and Bob, they robbed recently a house, took all kinds of fun stuff, mostly jewelry, silver, like cutlery, food, but also some magical books. So not just one, but more than one magical book.
Where are all these
Whoa.
books? This isn't the old
No,
one.
one's around here somewhere, and I don't right know where the other one is. But he would tell you basically his timeline of events, and it would line up everything that's happened curiously about town. They broke into this house on April 10th, and then on the 11th, they're out drinking, talking about these books. They buy chalk and candles on the 12th, and then they're all drunk, and it's like, I've got this ritual from this Folk Rituals of Anglia book. It's supposed to cure mild maladies, but he fumbles it, doesn't realize.
Clearly didn't cure alcohol.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that that's the reason why everybody's food went off and got all spoiled. He's like, what a strange coincidence. And the next day, hey, more drinking. Two Pies has this terrier, this dog named Calvin, and it's a disobedient dog. So it's like, well, I guess I can try and make you more obedient with this cool magic. And it doesn't work, but it does make every other dog bark for 6 hours. And then, right.
God fucking damn it.
Wow.
So JT, let me get this straight. You wanted to play this game with us, and of course you picked the scenario where some drunk people fuck up their community. That seems rather targeted.
Clever girl.
To be fair, it's the only written adventure released for this game.
All the bananas disappear. And all appear on the shirt.
That was my mind.
And yeah, he was trying to ward off evil spirits and accidentally summoned the spirit that went into Anne Granger's house. They agreed, we're never going to use these books again.
And
All right.
So
we need to
we
find
have
spirits.
one of the books now, right?
Yeah, we could take these, and you don't have any more problems or something. And I find that the best way to nip a situation in the bud is to just ignore it for a time until somebody comes into your house and takes it from you.
Can't argue with that.
It's sound logic. We used it in Germany. Not Nazi Germany. Don't put that evil on me. In Germany, we used that logic when I was a young lad.
And the Great War, then.
The Second Great War, somehow, landed in my back doorstep. And here we are.
Yeah, so
So one of those books was in our possession already. That's the one we
Yeah.
found.
One's around here.
yeah, I think the one is the one we
Mhm.
tried to do the ritual on, right?
Yeah,
What?
I thought he said there was another
Yeah, that's
around
what I-
here.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another one around his place. Is that what he
Or
said?
There's
it
one
might
way to
just be
find
gone.
out.
Like it might be out.
We could just search this place.
Let's
and see
search
if
this
there's more
place.
books.
Let's do it.
boom.
Awareness check.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Can I add
Can
for
I-
red? All right. I could succeed.
Ooh.
I don't.
3
Nice.
versus an 8.
Sure enough, lodged, kind of like barely sticking out from under an easy chair, you find a second book.
These guys are rich.
It is
It's these drunks get all these books.
a
This is
history
so
of the
weird.
esoteric treatise.
Stole them.
And Jack tells you that
Oh no.
What?
Nothing. I don't think.
Yeah.
sorry, I
What's
thought
Jack
I was
say?
talking over
Yeah, what's
Peter.
Jack say? Okay.
Oh, sorry. Did you say something?
Oh no. When I heard the name of the title of the book, I exclaimed, "Oh no!" Which is scary. We can
Okay.
move on.
No.
So, for the ministry, is there like process? Do they want to take all these things and store them, or do they want to destroy them?
They would probably be more interested in studying them and seeing if there's anything they could use before just making that decision.
Okay.
But Jack tells you guys that a few years ago he had tried to get in and join the Brethren of the Union of British Fascists, and they turned him away because he was a liability, and he'd saw all kinds of like weird stuff that they were doing, and when he saw these books, he was like, well, maybe I can impress them if I learn some magic, and they would maybe let me join.
Hmm.
You have to the style blank his memory, or are we cool just taking the book and going?
We could hit him on the head. I don't know what MIB is or anything, but
That's the Men in Black.
I know exactly what you're talking
Okay.
about, but in character, I
talking out of
don't know what the fuck
character.
Men in Black is.
I was talking out of character. Can't you tell by my very subtle accent?
No, I couldn't
changes?
tell by your subtle accent change.
I just thought he was Irish.
All right.
So-
Yeah, but that's a question about like what would the ministry do too? I mean, if we're talking about that.
Would they blank his mind?
Do you know that Jay? If we should blank his mind or something?
Do any of you have the ability to do that?
Very strong.
You would need some neuromancy to do any sort of memory alteration.
Person's brain.
Right.
I don't have that. I don't have that neuromancy. Or anything. Just a
Like a
good
bush
enough.
rat.
And as you're trying to figure out what to do with this
Let's
guy,
continue on our quest. However, we can turn him over to the authorities for thievery,
indeed, you're not wrong there.
burglary.
And as you're contemplating Jack's fate and your next decisions, there's a knock at the door.
That is not good. Who would like to answer this thing?
Shotgun pointed at the door.
I'll answer the door if you want.
All right.
Okay, I would stay like between, like in the threshold of the door between Jack and the. I'm guessing in my mind's eye, I'm picturing like there's an entry kind of like hallway in front, and he was over in like the living room or something, which is like the door off of that hallway. So I'd be standing in that hallway with 2 pistols out.
So John is huge. He has a 5 physique. So I imagine him like a
Nice.
linebacker.
Yeah. You think?
Nice.
I
Um,
am going to be right behind John. The 4 physique.
Oh, the 4 physique.
So if I answer the door, who's there?
Do you answer the door by opening it? Yeah, so you open the door
Yeah.
and you see a guy also with a 5 physique who grins at you and
God
says,
damn it.
Heil Hitler and God save the king. And he goes to punch you.
Oh,
Can I
that's
use
funny. I was
Nazi?
going to do the same
Can I use
thing.
Lord Nazi right now?
That's
You
true,
said
you can
Heil
totally know
Hitler.
what that means.
No, if I know.
So, Jay, I have
Fast.
combat awareness as a skill. Would that like help me to throw the first
So what
punch? or
combat
anything like that?
awareness is going to do is it would help you basically in initiative order for parlance that we all
Okay.
understand. This would constitute basically like a readied action. So
Okay.
for the combat rules, this is the opening round where the initiating character will take the first turn performing 2 actions, and as
Sure.
anyone who had prepared actions like you did, Peter, if you're wanting to fire a shotgun, you had that aimed, and you mentioned also being ready to punch, so you would be able to go in reflex order between the 2 of you, and then we would we would essentially go into regular initiative.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
You just told us to
Yeah,
roll.
so unfortunately, I guess fortunately for you, I rolled an 8, and that is not quite enough. So I missed by 1. This guy tries to punch at you. He will try again, because unlike surprise rounds in Pathfinder, you get both your actions in the opening round. There we go. That is a hit. In fact, I would call that a stunning success. Because who rolls low? I roll.
Great.
Cold cock me right off the bat.
Rude. Very
I'm
rude.
a pretty rude guy. Or at least this guy is. This guy's rude as hell. So he is... I've got the flow chart of melee combat. Pulling that up. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Fur.
What if he just explodes me
I
on the
hope
first
so.
shot?
Not personally, just because it's pretty cool.
He's gonna punch me in the leg.
Yeah, I do love
That'd be
the
really
hit
funny.
location in this game.
It's a low
Yeah, I just saw
blow.
that.
I raised my leg to
I
block.
block with my nards. Um,
All I'm saying is he better hit me hard. It's freaking monk
Where
with his
did
double
my-
attack.
really convenient sheet go with the melee flowchart.
It's on there.
Is on
was also on the
46
summary of
is that.
actions. There it is. It's on the back of the summary of actions page. Like, I know I've seen it because gave it as a handout on 2 days ago to players. So testing my melee score, I rolled a stunning success. So then you get to try, and John will get to either try and bravely back away or fight back.
Okay, and what's
So
the
the
mechanical
difference
there?
is, since you have space behind you to move into, you could completely avoid the attack if you pass with a reflex and unarmed test. If you fail that, then you get to pass a physique and strength training test to negate the damage, just like I am abs. And then
Okay,
okay,
I will
yeah. So
take
give
that
me a
option.
reflex plus unarmed.
Because also I have my Irishman right behind me. If I'm not going to cheat.
So you're saying you can't move back, so you'd have to do
So,
fight back. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
so
have to
then
do fight
you
back.
make your own melee test to block it. So
You said strength and physique, or do you want melee weapon
so
and physique?
melee, and then yeah, if you have a weapon in your hand, you can be blocking with that. I think that's reasonable.
Okay, it's almost the same numbers. Okay. I got 6. I beat
Cool.
it
Yeah.
by
So the attack is, let's see, and it fails on attack.
So I rolled a 6 and I have a 9.
Nice. So yeah, you passed it, and so by passing, you block the attack.
Okay. Does this guy have any spiritual goo on him, or is he
He
just a
just
normal
seems
guy?
like a meathead, for lack of a better term. Just a big old dude with brass knuckles trying to beat you.
Okay. Okay. Whose
So
turn
then
is
it
it
would
now?
go who has the higher reflexes plus combat awareness of whoever
Mine's a
is.
5.
So my total's a 5.
What?
But then reflexes.
My reflex is a 5, but I do not have combat awareness.
I thought we were going to
Yes, that is
resolve
what
some
I was.
prepared actions.
The order of
Oh,
the
yeah,
prepared
yeah, I gotta do
actions
that.
is what I'm trying to really. So of who would go first.
Gotcha, my B.
Sure.
What was yours, Peter?
My reflexes are a 4.
Okay, then John would get to go his prepared punch before your shotgun, or yeah.
Sweet.
Well, I'm glad I'm not going to get shot. We'll see. Okay, so I rolled a 1. My melee is 5.
Nice.
And if I'm unarmed? Okay, so it's 1 and I have a 9.
So that's stunning. Let's see if this kid can, and by kid I mean grown man, can super grown.
Grown-ass man. Grown-ass adult.
So he is able to block your attack, but you get to take a second one. I rolled another 2.
Jeez.
But you get 2 actions, so feel free to try and punch him again.
I just picture myself trying to uppercut
Nice.
him with the peace pipe. I rolled another 1, and that's out of a 9.
And
Just swinging it.
yeah, I again, because he's another meathead, so you're kind of going toe to toe with a melee capable guy. So even though I rolled a 5, that's still enough to block it.
And then is there like a movement economy?
It would be an
Or-
action, so you could.
So if I punched him, can I not move, or because I'm blocking the
Yeah,
whole
you
door
took,
right now?
and so if you want to retcon the second punch, you can and move instead. But basically, each attack is an action, and you get 2.
Okay. No, I'm fine. I'll just
Okay.
punch back and forth.
Then, so now you're standing in the doorway. Behind you is James, I believe, and then Peter's in the hallway, and it's your readied action.
Yes. So, what I could do, because I have a full turn, is use my double tap ability and pour 4 buckshots down the hallway. But that's probably not a great idea shooting
I
into
mean,
melee.
There are shooting into melee rules, and if
Yes, I'm looking at
Okay.
him right now,
All right.
and it's like
Maybe it's like
pretty,
Pathfinder. You'll miraculously not hit me.
What's
it's
what's
crazy.
the rule? Can you?
all right. So the ruling is a stunning success. You hit at normal. A normal success, roll again, and there's a 50-50 chance you hit your intended target or your friend. And then failure is just a failure or dreadful failure is a total miss. So I really would need the stunning success, which will be difficult if he makes his reaction. So, is there any way I could like reach up, kind of push John to the side, and just blast this guy point blank with a shotgun
Oh my god.
to break up the melee combat?
I'm trying to think of a way to do that in 2 actions is my only thought. Because you could move up close.
Yeah.
And that might get you less of a penalty because you can sort of get next to John and not have James be someone obstructing you. But I don't think you have a way of really moving him and shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a slug you can shoot that isn't like an AoE?
Well,
It would have the same.
no, and the shotgun isn't AoE.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. I guess I'm gonna move up so I can shoot into melee, and I still have my fortune tokens, so I can push this to a stunning success if I am able. Here we go. Moves up and takes a shot.
I am so unlucky, I gotta tell you.
All right. Well, between my ranged and shotgun skills, I needed to beat a 10, and I got a 9. So,
Normal success.
so
Roll again, buddy.
On a 1
Roll
to
again.
5, you hit your intended target.
50-50, right?
So that's a 50-50.
God damn.
He's gonna blow us away.
Oh boy.
Woo,
It's a
we
3.
did it.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Got him.
So then
Yeah, dude. That's awesome.
he gets to make a reflex
Jesus.
test to give you a -2 penalty for trying to jump out of the way. And let's see.
This guy's like
Yeah,
Neo.
it's a little bit.
40
Yeah, it's a little
damage.
crazy. What it's like it's deadly. If you can actually hit somebody, they could die. Yeah. So his reflexes. So he does. I mean, so he does give you a -2 penalty, but you still rolled. So it should have given you. Yeah,
5
I think it still hits
instead of a
because of the weirdness of the shooting the melee rules. I think we'll go with a hit.
Well, if he had a -2, he would need to beat an 8, and he
So we
rolled a
needed to
9,
beat 10.
right?
Yeah, and if that's the case, I would burn my
So
fortune.
one.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's just
Yeah,
say
so
you
one
burned your
token makes
fortune.
that into a hit. Do you want to go ahead and roll a d10 for his hit location?
Oh, this is gonna be brutal.
Oh,
I
yeah.
sure do.
With a shotgun. Rolled cock. Again.
This is gonna be a good one because I rolled
Oh,
number 1,
Yes.
which is a shotgun
no.
blast to the head.
Oh,
and a
God.
shotgun.
Oh, God.
So it's not deadly. So it still just does 1, thankfully. But he does go prone, misses next turn, and has to pass a physique test or go unconscious.
He's not dead.
Yikes.
Dude, you just like
So I
took
just
out his
like
eye.
blew the cheek off this
Man.
guy.
Wow.
Brutal.
Yeah, you
All right, so that should be my
yeah,
turn.
I'd say a really effective turn too. Man, so now, so he flat misses his next turn regardless, as he is prone and heavily injured. So then we go back to actual initiative order. Who has the highest reflexes here? And you can add combat awareness.
5. But don't combat awareness.
Also flat 5.
4.
5.
Okay.
But you
I
do
would,
have.
imagine between the tie, whoever has the most reflex would win, and I think it's our Nazi.
Yeah, so in
Well, you get to
Yeah,
add.
but also our Irishman does also have like 5 reflex or something, I think.
it's
Roll
essentially
off.
if it's
You want to roll off, buddy?
Well, wait, but I thought, DA, didn't you say did you have combat?
Don't have combat awareness.
But
If
John
you do-
does, right?
He does, but he didn't beat either of us.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that was
I-
with.
Mhm.
That's where we're. Yeah, that's where we're at. You want to
Let's
roll
roll
a
off.
d20? Roll a d20.
Yeah.
Because we got to use them at some point in this game.
Sure. High is good.
Yeah. I got a natty 1, baby.
Roll 6.
All right, you beat me.
Alright.
So you get to go
Wow.
first.
All right. Well, I saw this guy
Mhm.
get shotgunned in the head.
you did.
And
Probably fine.
do I have handcuffs extra or something? I feel like stabbing him is not the best plan.
Thank you.
Don't finish him off.
So we each have handcuffs, so you could probably see them hanging out of my bag.
Okay. All right. I will go
And
ahead
you can teleport items
Nice.
out of whatever.
Oh, shit.
Don't forget.
Nice.
Forgot about-
onto his wrists.
I will attempt to teleport the handcuffs.
Yeah, so
at least into my
sorcery
hand.
plus your skills and apportation.
I was supposed to take skills in that?
Fuck.
That was a serious question, I guess. Was I supposed to take it as
You
a skill
can
too?
put points in it so that your rolls are higher, likelier to succeed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't, so here we go. I have a 3.
Come on. Nice.
I rolled a 3.
Perfect.
So
All right.
So I'll teleport it into my hands and then handcuff him. If I can do that.
yeah.
Does that make sense? All right. So should I roll again,
I
sleight
don't
of
think you
hand
need
for the
to. He's
handcuff?
unconscious. Well, he's not unconscious, but he's prone.
Oh, that's
Yeah, he's basically dazed.
Prone, yeah.
I think we could call
Pretty
it,
vulnerable.
or stunned, because he missed his whole next turn.
all right.
He did get shot in the fucking head.
I know, but you know,
There's a part of that where it's like maybe he's got some.
I like to roll dice.
He's not
you know?
defending.
I get it,
Just want to
man.
roll some dice. Let me roll some bones.
So John feels his bag get a little lighter, and then suddenly the handcuffs are on
Awesome.
the guy on the ground. Maybe
I just
Bob,
pictured.
2 pies. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's
Just like
2
the
pies,
running.
I don't want to know who 3 pies is.
Oh,
2 pies has 5 pies. 3 pies. 3 pies is a beast.
This is 2 Chain's grandfather.
Let alone hot pies. Who's gonna be the king of Westeros?
what does our Nazi do?
I mean, at this point, if I'm up next, I see the handcuffs get placed, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I think he would have his 2 pistols at the ready. He would get into a position where he has a clearer shot. I think he might actually run up the fucking stairs and bust out the second floor window and point down. He doesn't want to be on the street pointing a gun at some dude on the ground, but
Right.
this guy came outside, so I don't know if that's a 2-action feasible thing or if he just runs upstairs this turn, but that's fine. That's what he would have
So you
to
run
do.
upstairs, and you can see that there are 2 other people that were out of view from the doorway. So feel free to free action call that out if you choose to.
Yeah, he'd be like,
Oh, Jesus Christ. There's like a bunch of people outside, and you guys, I hope you can serve something because they're coming for us.
He's just doing his all 2 guns in his hands.
2 guns. He's gonna try and provide aerial support.
Awesome.
He's gonna try and
Amazing.
shoot the 4 window.
So then I think the next 5 is John.
So I'm gonna go straight into like combat medic mode, and I'm going to try to save this guy's life and drag him in if I can. So I don't know if that'll take 2 actions. I want to save his life first, and then drag him through the
So
door
a
and close it.
knowledge plus first aid would let you
Okay.
basically reduce the frequency of times they'll need to make saves.
Okay, so I pass with
Cool. That's great.
3.
Yeah, he is. He wasn't bleeding out, but now he definitely. Now, if he were to fail his physique test, he'll already kind of be stabilized. So.
Yeah. And I'm like on his chest. I'm not like gonna let him run away, but just don't want him bleeding out. Cool.
Then yeah, you can pull him in for your second action if you wanted to. You mentioned wanting to do that. And
Sure.
Peter has a 4. Is that right? Then I need you to
That's
roll off
correct.
with me. Well, it
So does
depends
that
on
mean
this
I'm up?
roll off.
Hello.
And you'll
Ooh.
almost certainly be.
D20s?
Oh, D20s? You want to do
oh, sure.
D20s?
I rolled a garbage on a D10, so sure.
I
We wanted
rolled
to go
a 10 on
high
my
or low?
D20.
I
High
think
is
we did
better?
high last time.
Oh, great, because I rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Classic.
You blew it.
Then yeah,
Perfect.
I also rolled the ones. It's fine.
then
All right, so Peter is going to walk to the doorway. And do these gentlemen look threatening to us? Are they carrying weapons or
you see a
or anything?
knife-wielding man and a woman.
All right. Knife-wielding man seems like he could be a threat. So, classic American style. I'm gonna double
boy.
tap 2 shots at him.
Oh my god.
And he
Christ.
Can
he
you imagine
super
the woman down the
super
street
failed
drinking
his
coffee?
reflex check, so he does not penalize make your shot any harder.
All right. Well, the first one was a flat 10, so that just fails. Second one, we would be at a -2 penalty. And an 8 would go to a 10, which would fail unless I used a reflex. I'm not gonna burn it. It's not worth it. at
You
this
mean
point.
a fate token or whatever they are? The fate token?
Yeah, the fate token. Yeah.
Yeah.
So somehow, shooting against a 10, I failed both times.
Ouch, man.
Shotguns are unreliable, dude.
Well, now it is their turn, and you
Oh my
did
God.
just try and shoot Knifey McGee. Not related to Whiskey McGee. So he is going to try and move up
Oh god.
and stab at Peter. And I hit exactly a 6. So that means you get to either bravely back away or try and fight back.
If I fought back, could I shoot him?
No, it's a melee.
How
So-
how does that work? Yeah,
Yeah, so if you
Go ahead.
fight back and succeed, then you block the attack. If you stunningly succeed on a melee test, then you can counterattack. And I guess we would consider you would be basically shotgun whipping him, which would be cool. But it'd be a melee. It wouldn't be a shooting.
Hit him with the butt
Yeah.
of it.
what about bravely back away? Because my
So
melee
that
is
is a
trash.
reflex plus unarmed, and you could just move. If you pass it, then you just back out of his knife swipe, and he misses you.
All right, that's my better option, honestly.
Nice.
Which I do. My reflex is a 4. I rolled a
Then
10.
yeah, he moved,
Nice.
Awesome.
The only person who touches me is my wife.
and she can't wait to get her hands on you.
Yeah, it's
Boy,
only
howdy.
been 2 years.
Then that was Knifey,
boy.
and you feel. Oh yeah, first try. You feel this shaking.
God
that's cool.
damn it.
That's cool. And as this woman comes up to you, she just on the nose passes her apportation and sorcery roll, and your shotgun
Oh no!
appears in her hands. And you have been,
God. Oh,
you have
fuck.
been disarmed.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. We're screwed. We're screwed. It's the best weapon in the game, damn it. Who's got the light machine gun?
I need
We
to
need
roll
our
to the
Irishman.
So that happened. That was both of her actions, though, a move and an apportate. So now the top of the round is... Well, I'm going to make a physique test for this guy just to see if he even really needed. No, he's good. So he's not dying. That's a pro right there. He is fine, just unconscious. Well, he actually passed. So he's conscious, but he is restrained. So he might just try.
Guys, physique test.
He's going to see if he can. I don't even think he needs to try and break the handcuffs to kick you.
Dang.
God
What
damn
is this
it.
guy? Eddie from Tekken?
Quit jerking us around like this.
The kicking
Thought we
me.
had him. I didn't know I needed 2 pairs of
Right?
handcuffs.
So
It's kicking John.
he's on the ground.
Yeah, like I'm on his chest.
There's a set of leg irons in the car.
You better suppress
We
his
need to go to
tongue.
the car.
I tell you. Immobilize it. But
I have it upstairs. I
he
gotta bring it
passed
down.
a 6. So John needs to either bravely back away from his kick or fight back.
Oh, I fight. All right.
He's
Roll
gonna
a
bring down a
5.
fucking peace pipe, aka a just giant fucking axe.
I passed by
So you
more than
stunningly
4.
succeeded on a fight back? Yeah. Nice. Then,
Yeah.
you counterattack. So roll hit location as you beat this prone, handcuffed man who's been shot in the head.
Oh, he dead. Oh, he dead.
I hit him
Lop
in the
off one of
right
his legs.
Nice.
So I just picture myself catching his fist and crushing
Yeah, like
it.
he tries like to lash out to kick you,
Oh.
and you just kind of like, you catch it, and I don't know what, maybe like you hit him with your elbow or something in his arm as you two are tussling, and
Or maybe as a shotgun move. and
nice.
Stick my
That's
fingers in.
that's fighting dirty. And with his right arm being hurt, that
is gross.
halves his ranged and melee stats, which will be good. So now it goes. I think we went.
Or wasn't he
That
supposed
was
to miss his
this
next
was
turn?
2 turns.
That was before when
Yeah.
we skipped his turn
Mhm.
when you got to handcuff him.
Yeah, so we're at the top
right.
of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the Irish turn.
It should
before.
be it should be your
My
turn
turn?
now. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
James is not going to try and apparate the shotgun back. I don't think I'm very
He
confident.
could. He's just shy.
I just didn't put the points in the right place.
Oh man.
Instead, I'm going to pull out. I imagine I'm next. So I was
Mhm.
like in front of the doorway, so I'm pretty
Uh-huh.
close to Peter, and I'm going to put my pistol
Nice.
in his hand if I can do that as an action,
Oh, thanks, babe.
so that you're not defenseless, and then take out a knife and just be like, ah! and run down the street with a knife at this woman who has a shotgun, and it's not going to go
Aren't they
well.
on the second floor?
No, yeah,
I'm on the
they're
second
they're
floor.
on the street.
Oh, I thought they were on the
That's
street.
Nazi
I don't know why
Germany.
I
It's
thought
the
that.
second floor.
Then I will run to the wherever
Yeah,
she is.
she's basically just on the other side of the doorway.
Oh.
Oh, all right.
So you could
I'll-
so
So they're
so they
outside.
hadn't come into the door yet. Knife Man did. Ghost dog.
It's a ghost
so the
dog.
Knife Man has
It's
came
a little ghost
in
dog.
to stab at
That
Peter,
is so fucking.
but
fun.
apportationist had gone had just basically come up to the doorway to take his shotgun. So you could charge in
Sorry.
this game. You can
Oh, I
charge,
could charge,
and
that's
attack.
right.
So unlike Pathfinder, where you have to have at
That's-
least 10 feet, you just have to be within 12 feet.
Yeah.
I don't
So if
want
you're
it.
wanting to, you can strike
think-
at her.
I do want to. I feel like Griffin is dying. Me. That's what I'll do. Melee plus
Nice.
knife gives me a 6.
Whoa!
I rolled a 1. I have been
So
rolling.
that's a stunning
incredibly
success, and if she
Yeah.
can't,
Hey,
if she
congratulations
can't
on your
avoid
stunning
this,
success,
then it's
Tim.
going to deal 2 injuries.
Dang.
You gonna drink some ghost dog?
Yeah, so that would be a good thing. However, natural 1. There it is. Oh man!
Natural 1. Oh shit!
See what happens when you drink.
Wow. This has been a PSA brought to you by the Straight Edge Society of
Pepper
London.
Wiki whiskey.
That is the worst
Oh, man.
news I've ever had.
That's not the worst. Of
So she's
You know what the worst was?
no. Yeah, she's
Sorry,
able
go
to barely dash out of the way of your very close call on the blade.
Okay. Ugh. All right. This is. I'm gonna regret this.
What, the ghost dog or?
Both, everything.
It's okay. She's just holding a shotgun.
Fair.
Yeah.
That'd be
So that
my
would
turn,
be
right?
bananas followed by John.
I think it. Oh yeah. Okay.
All right, so can I move action, open the window, second floor?
Yeah. It's an interact.
Okay, so I open the window. I look out on the street. I saw these people. The dude seemed more threatening to me in my first, like when I saw him. So I'm actually going to. So I have the both guns blazing special ability, which means that I can fire from both of my pistols as a standard action. Well, we're not calling them standard actions. As an action, I also have the
Nice.
sharpshooter ability, which gives me a +1 on those attacks. So I'm rolling at a 8 on both of
So,
these shots.
and if you want to, so he is in. Knife Man is inside. You can't see him from outside. You could
Oh, he's
shoot
inside. Okay, then
the
I'm
one
gonna
who
shoot
stole
the
the
lady.
shotgun.
Yeah, I'll shoot her then. I thought they were both outside.
Theater of the mind is tricky.
No, it's all right. It's all good. I'm gonna shoot both of these.
I'm gonna get shot.
All right. I'm gonna spend 1 point to make both of them a success. So I have 8 and an 8.
Nice, yeah, and I
So you can make your
I
reflex.
screwed. I got an 8 on reflex. No way. Did not manage to dive for cover. So yeah,
So
roll,
shoot her with
roll
2
hit
bullets.
location on both of those.
Steve, do you have the hit location table up,
Yeah, I do.
buddy?
I
Is
got
that a D10?
Because she backed away, am I not in melee with her anymore?
Yeah, actually. So there's no penalties from that
Okay.
hitting you. Phew.
I got a 1 and an 8.
Oof.
One and an 8. All right, one is the head, and then 8 is
Yeah,
the right
she
arm.
she also goes prone. Good
Give me
lord.
that fucking shotgun.
So she falls to the ground, trying to, but dropping the shotgun. It goes off and kills her. No, so she's like trying to
Perfect,
hold
perfect.
one
That's what I
arm, but
planned.
also her head, and she is just a mess. She's effectively out of combat.
Perfect. I mean, the pistol is, it's one of those things where it's just.
Yeah, and in
Deadly.
this game, they one thing I like about this game is they sort of differentiate between your trash mobs and your more formidable opponents, and so just like in TV and movie, a lot of, and in real life, really, if you get shot, you're probably done. And so most of the two of these
Yeah,
people don't
most of the time.
actually have a hit location table. One of them does, because they're basically out of combat. But I like to know where you hit them, so I think it's a cool mechanic to use. Anyway,
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Just let it be noted that these are not revolvers. These are both Lugers. So I have 2 Lugers.
So
Just so you,
technically, he's carrying 2 Lugers, a Webley pistol, and 2 more given to him.
Yep.
It's just has
Good night.
revolvers all around his chest.
I'm all revolvers. It's revolvers all the way down.
And with that,
That's some like Blackbeard pirate shit where you carry like 8 pistols.
Except he's a German, like, clad in leather dude instead of Blackbeard.
and now, speaking of clad in leather, it's John's turn.
I saved your life and I can take it. So he's gonna roll. Peace pipe beat down. Ooh, I don't think he got it.
Isn't a beatdown when you use a fucking axe? Does that
Dismemberment.
count as a beatdown, or is it like, oh, I chopped your arm off, beaten down?
It's
Nice.
it's a pass.
He is going to try, and I don't think he can really back away, but he'll try and block it, I guess, somehow. His melee stats
also
are halved, though, so he fails because of being hurt in the arm.
Ooh, dang it.
Hell yeah.
Let me see. 6. It's
Yeah.
right arm again.
So both of those boxes are crossed out. He is now incapacitated and bleeding out. And,
Hippocratic.
so I think.
Yeah.
So then
No
I
harm.
failed my roll off, right? So
Beat a man to death with a
so now
peace
Peter
pipe.
gets to go before Knife Man.
That's right. And is Knife Man in melee combat with
No.
anybody?
Well, because you backed away
All right,
successfully.
cool.
So
Because I'm gonna go old American West on him with the revolver that I was given by my new Irish friend, and I've just got it at the hip, and I'm firing 4 times and pulling back the hammer with my left hand, like shooting from the hip a bunch of times.
Wow.
It's gonna be tough to hit. All right, I missed the first one. Definitely missed the second one.
You crit failing.
Third one is at my full, so I should be okay. I actually hit him on. I would hit on the. No, there haven't been any crits yet. I would hit on the second one if he does not succeed his
he
like
did.
reflex
He got a
thing.
2. So that'll add.
All right. Well, that confirmed a -2 penalty to my fire's range stat. So
Nice.
I still hit with my 2. So I do hit him, and then I basically need a natural 1 to hit him this last time. And I got a 4, which would miss.
But you hit him once. Nice.
So I hit him once.
Hit location.
4 bullets, 1 hit.
The
I get it.
shotgun's my thing.
Yeah, go
JT,
for it.
do you want me to roll on the table?
Please.
The injury table? Cool. That's a 3.
Yeah, dude.
I shot him right in the
and
chest.
he he drops the knife, and it's just like, oh god, this was a terrible idea. And we're functionally out of combat at this point. The downside to all of your amazing gunplay theatrics is that as this is a Thursday afternoon in Cambridge, and not like a
somebody noticed
Saturday
us.
evening
Dang it.
in Compton, it's drawn some attention.
Oh my gosh.
It's bombs, everyone! Get to your bunkers.
Wait, you mean it was suspicious when I shot 9 times in about 4
It
seconds?
was a little bit suspicious, and
Could
certainly alarming to this like quiet English town of sorts.
You blew it,
Well,
Steve.
that depends.
Blew it.
She's just drinking tea next door. It's
I
like,
have silencers on my gun. What are you doing over there?
So
I need to go get my things back, and he's gonna go get the shotgun.
So sure enough, you hear the sounds of a police car. Was it lorry? I don't know. A lorry
Yeah,
coming up,
yep,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
and
Yeah.
this policeman with his super awesome hat pops out, and he sees in the street a woman who's been shot twice and is clutching her wounds. Through the doorway, he can see this I can imagine in my mind and my head canon, Peter, even though he's in uniform, still has like a big belt buckle or something in my head.
Yeah, like the Texas
Like,
Longhorns belt
I'm
buckle.
I'm an Indiana man.
Yep.
But and at his feet is a guy who's bleeding from the chest, and out the second story window, there's like 2 smoking gun barrels with this German. Although who knows, maybe he sounds Irish.
Okay, you can't tell if
he
I'm
just- he
German
just
from that
knows.
distance.
He's got
He just
So
knows.
literally
you're wearing all
stares
leather.
at
He-
it off.
I'm rubbing my nipples.
yep, he's
saying,
got detect
"Oh, yeah."
ethnicity.
Oh, I knew it. There's
And,
techno playing from upstairs.
He says,
You're-
"What in the bloody hell is going on here?" And before you have a chance to answer, I need you to finish your drinks,
Oh,
because we'll see you someday.
yeah, let's play again. That was a blast.
Sure.
That's fun.
Oh,
Do
damn.
this, like,
Awesome, guys.
Yeah, I love that. And now I want to get into the real paranormal now. I want to shoot at a ghost and see what happens.